I'm excited to see what they do with the new doors. The lighting. Hopefully it's a usable feature.
Aye. Should be better.
Welcome back.
We have everybody? We do.
Yeah, it looks like everyone is here. So, Calgrod, you were the wait.
Yep.
Yeah, you were the previous scribe.
Alright.
Let me let's go on my notes here. So Riven, are you good for scribing this week?
Yeah.
Alright. Very good. Calgrod, do you want to give us a quick recap of last time?
Yeah, so we returned to the keep after talking to the Warforged at the cathedral, after meeting the humans at the outskirts of the city. We figured out that something has been slipped in the stuff given by the wizard associate of the Softspire nobility. They tried to sneak like a sending stone on us, so we're not sure exactly what that is about yet, but it is a sending stone, as he said once we kind of called it out on it. Went back to the keep. Wildfire met Dana. She will be helping for the meeting this evening at the edge of town, and report that the human army would be hard to defeat even for her. We passed the time by investigating the house where we first spotted the Haloon. No traces. There is not much news about the mindstorms on Chiron's side, so we decide to return in the Underkeep to find the main players and learn about them, and see if we can learn directly from one of them. Doing so, we spot a strange ghoul down the corridor after we teleport through this kind of a glass sphere that we set up with Karen, and we follow it into a closed room where a fight erupts. We kill a mind flayer ghost, a few ghouls, and we find tracks of another one leading close to where Tal. We found Tal in his kind of Bacta tank, like mind flayer vat. Where we freed him from, and he finds the secret passage, but we cannot find the mechanism for it. So we keep going, we keep following the good tracks until we stumble on 3 invisible mind flayers. They didn't really want to engage directly, and they were kind of observing us, but we start a battle. Ripple and myself are stunned. Talent Riven managed to negotiate a ceasefire, and in exchange for which Haloon returned Tal's 4 companions that had been captured with his party. And they explained to us that the Mindstorm, actually, they don't say the Mindstorm, so they call it Mindstorm, was held by their leader when the Shadowlord ritual destroyed his sect, and it has been lost since. So we still don't know what Mindstorm is, if it's a creature, an item, or something else. In any case, they have lost it, and they tell us that if we find the Mindstorm somewhere in the Undercave, they are willing to trade us for it. They are still thinking about it and seems to be kind of detached of what's happening at the surface. So we live with a freed prisoner, And at that point, Balefire starts talking about splitting, and we split the things from the whole as he's preparing to make his leave.
All right. Thank you for that recap. And so I was gonna say, Tal, with the 4 people you rescued, if you're interested, I can either kind of keep them in the background for now, but if you would like, I could possibly turn one of them into like some kind of sidekick for you. If you're interested in creating one, are you familiar with sidekicks?
No.
So, do you remember what book that's from? Calgrad?
It's like Dija, but it's better.
Yeah, it's sort of like it's like I mean they're free acting NPCs, but they have kind of like almost like PC stats, so they can
Yeah,
be assistants in battle. Um, and
I
yeah,
think it's from Tasha. I think it's from Tasha.
I think you're
I'll
right.
double check.
I think it is. If you look in the compendium, let me see
Yeah.
if I can find it because I have my compendium shared, so I'm guessing. Yeah, so if you look up sidekick in the compendium, there's rules for kind of creating them. It's kind of like creating a character, but less to it. Like they only have a couple of abilities that they get.
Okay, I'm gonna read up on it after the session or something.
Yeah, it's not something we need right away, but yeah, something
Yeah.
you could think about.
Oh
All right.
man, I
Yeah.
would love to make Wildfire my sidekick, but no.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing something like that at least until we find some more players to fill the last 2 spots. So it is the 24th of winter at 12:50 p.m. The group is currently within your stronghold underneath the keep, kind of waiting for the meeting to happen. Is there
Yeah.
anything any of you wish to do, or do you want me to pass time until something happens?
So we just need to discuss. So there's a few items we still need to kind of figure out where they're going. So I gave for everybody the split of the coins, gold bars, mithril, and stuff that were easily can be easily shared. So you have the list in the roleplay channel. Now there's a few items. So the sending stone, Tal has it, right?
Yeah, I
Oh,
have it.
and I was gonna ask, are you okay with me moving those just to main chat? I just would rather
Sure.
the role play be kept for just actual like in
Okay,
character
okay. Yeah,
stuff.
let me delete that and post that over there then.
Yeah, just
Uh,
copy paste it over there. Would probably
yeah,
be better.
yeah.
And
I
I
put it
can
there.
definitely pin it too, or yeah, I think you can pin it as well, or maybe I have to. I don't
Okay,
know.
let me do that. So this is updated over there.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
so the things that are not assigned right now are the Wand of Warmage +1, Potion of Water Breathing, the Horn of Blasting, the Sight, a Recipe or Shoes of Speed, 3 Wyvern Poison, and a Book of Horsemanship. So anybody has any comment on those? I put a few comments, but like waiting for the group to kind of chime in. So, oh, okay.
Duranu, your mic is kind of cutting out. I can't hear you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're sounding kind of robotic. I think you might be having some internet issues. Or maybe a reconnect, yeah.
So I was thinking we could leave the sites +2 for Balefire in exchange for leaving us all the soul crystals so that we don't share the soul crystals. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he figures he won't be needing the soul crystals, so he would agree to that. It's a pretty powerful item.
Tal, are you okay with that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I can't use it.
Okay, yeah, and me neither really. So the only thing Calgord would be kind of interested is a Horn of Blasting, if unless somebody wants it.
no takers, I guess.
I'm
No,
looking at what it does.
Go for it. It's
Alright.
useful, but it's not the sort of thing I'd use.
Yeah, and so anyone wants to take the potion of water breathing, and so the bond of war mage +1. Is that something anybody is interested by?
That's useful for everyone who can cast spells, so
Yeah.
as long
So
as they have an attunement
Well-
slot and a spare hand.
I guess if Tal falls in the water with his armor, he's probably going to sink like a stone. So it may be a good idea for him to have the potion just in case.
Yeah, just in case.
Alright.
In case you fall into a lake or something.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a alright. So Tal. So the wand of the war mage, you guys, Ripple or Riven, one of you want to take it to take it, even if it's like a Ripple. Riven got a pretty cool cloak of protection. Ripple, you may want the wand of the war mage, even if it's just for resale or something.
Yeah, I could use it.
Alright, Ripple. And so the remaining stuff is just recipes. There is a book of horsemanship and a recipe or the shoes of speed, so we can leave that in the group stuff for now.
Does
Is
the
that
group
okay?
have a? Do you all have a bag of holding to put the group stuff in that someone's carrying?
No, actually, well, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I have one.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
So then we can put that in your bag of holding. So I put under group resources then everything that could go in Tal's bag of holding.
I guess, are you okay using them using the bag for that towel?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So you
Right.
store your things within Tal's bag.
Alright, so everything above the group resource, you guys can add that to your equipment, and after that, it's I'll track the rest in Tal's bag from the spreadsheet.
All right. So, anyone else doing anything? All right. So time. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I was just saying now.
Okay. So time is passing. Around 2:00 in the afternoon, as you're waiting for the council of all the different leaders to take place, you would receive a message, Tal. Let me type that out for you. Oh, geez, I forgot his name. One moment. All right. Make sure I'm not using too many words. Okay. There you go.
Ah, Malestra wants to talk.
Oh, like with you or with us in general?
Just in general, with me, he can talk over the stone. I don't know. I wonder what's so important that it can't wait until the meeting.
Well, and if he wants to talk, he may be wanting to talk by himself without the soft fires around.
Maybe. Do you have an idea of where we could go?
They are on the south of the town, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was suggesting the vampire lair, but that's probably not a good idea.
I mean, it's daytime. It's not like they're gonna come out.
Yeah, it is true. Hey, Maestro, go in there, go down, talk to the people.
We're in,
Actually,
yeah,
that could
we're in the
be.
cave.
Actually, that could be. So, do we want to? So, there's obviously two options. Either he wants to do something behind the soft spy back, or he wants to ambush us.
I mean, I guess that's the first. He looked like he wanted to say something when we were with him.
Okay. So he may be kind of interested by the night weather stuff too, and maybe interested to learn if we have done anything. I mean, what do you think? Should we go meet him? Should we try to get rid of him?
I mean, we have nothing better to do. Might as well meet him.
Okay. So let's see. We
So I
still
guess
have
you have a moment or so to answer. So what message would you be sending back?
Is there any good meeting place? Like that's kind of on the border. I don't know. I mean, we can meet on that marketplace south of Dinara's place or something.
sure.
All right, so you're gonna tell him to meet you south of the market.
Yeah, in the market.
All right, so you send him the message. Do you send a time?
Tell him in 2 hours so we can kind of
2 hours?
follow him.
I would.
Like
That's a lot long. I don't know. I would say in like 1 hour at the most, maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah, the meeting
Okay.
is coming up. I believe it's at 5. So the meeting is
Okay.
in 3 hours from now.
Yeah.
Alright. So what I'll do is I'll send Dija. I'll do a beast bond with Dija, and I'm going to have her go walk through the roof and stuff like that, and up and down to follow to kind of follow this guy as he makes his way in the city to make sure there's no kind of weird stuff happening. So before we head out,
Yeah.
actually, can I the mission itself only? So questions about see invisibility. If I cast see invisibility on myself and I'm seeing through Dija's eye, would I see things invisible?
Do you have the power ability you could link?
Let me make them here. So see invisibility.
Or I mean, for
done.
the for beast, or was it beast sight?
Oh yeah, beast sight. I want to link the beast bond, I think.
Beast bond. Let's see. Okay.
Oh no, beast bond is a telepathic message. Sorry, that's not the one I would cast. It's the other one. I always kind of confuse the two. It's a beast stance.
Okay. You'd be seeing through the beast's eye. It sounds that. I mean, that kind of sounds to me more like you're seeing what it's seeing. Rather, well, I don't know. You're seeing through. So maybe, yeah. I'll give it to you. I'll say you can see invisible through his eyes.
Alright, so I
Because
will
you
cast.
are seeing. Yeah. Okay.
Alright. So I've cast invisibility and then beast sense. Use my beast sense and then send Dija down south where we know it's going to come from, and just kind of have Dija follow him and make sure he's alone and all that kind of good stuff before he arrives.
Okay. I assume D's just trying to be stealthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we have a short rest?
Yeah, it's been well. You can spend one if you want. It's been several hours that you've been within the stronghold. So you,
Spell slots.
yeah, if you want to spend a short rest, go for it. Which, yeah, if you want to use any hit dice or, oh, why is Schroeder here? Get out of here, Schroeder.
Oh no, it's gone dark.
But yeah, so if you want to spend hit dice or regain your spell slots.
Are
All
we
right.
going out or I need to spend hit dice? Nah, I'll be fine.
That is up
What
to
is
you.
it? What am I at? I'm at 30. Let's spend 4 hit dice and regain 40 hit points.
Yeah, you do look wounded, I think, right?
Oh yeah, I'm fucked. Like, yeah. I'll spend 4 hit dice and get 40 hit points.
All right. So you relax a bit, feeling a bit better. Maybe treat your wounds. So as for Deja, trying to think, would Deja have a magical aura on him?
Very likely because description of Dija is kind of it is actually looking at a spider, but with some kind of magic rune glowing on it.
Yeah, that's kind of my feel. He would have some, especially with seeing through his eyes and everything. He probably has some magic connections. Give me a stealth check.
Alright, so Dija, stealth check.
And how close would Deja be getting to Malistray, or is he staying pretty
Not
far?
too close. Yeah, saying like maybe 200 feet or something like that. If she can see him, obviously. But
Okay, so just sort of keeping an eye on him in the distance.
yeah, it's just to make sure he's coming alone and there's no kind of shenanigans going on for the preparation.
Yeah.
Alright, so check. So it's a dex check plus my 5 proficiency bonus. So we're going probably not to add. Ooh, it's not great.
Okay.
It is 14.
14. All right. So yeah, I mean, Deja, he is a 5-foot spider, so he's kind of noticeable.
Yeah, it's not strong.
Malistray is in the area. He would probably notice Deja, but not really make much of it. Like he just
Okay.
would probably look over at him. Now, did you have Deja when you went to meet them? No, right?
No, I would. I would have. He would have seen Dija on the visit. I didn't specifically mention Dija was not part of the.
All right.
I
So
didn't keep Dija out.
yeah, so you're not sure if he recognized him or not, but it doesn't seem like he has anyone with him, and he's kind of trying to stay hidden himself.
Uh-huh.
So he's kind of not not like hiding like under anything, but just like not out in the open.
All right. So I'm following Tal with a hand on his shoulder because I'm kind of blind and deaf as I'm observing through Dija's eye, and I just relate that to the others as we are heading towards the marketplace.
All right. So the party is going to meet Malistray. He would sort of step out as he sees you all coming and greet you. This is a greeting, Shadowstalkers. It is good to see you again. Thank you for meeting with me. I was wanting to talk to you a bit in private before the meeting later on today. There's a bit of a disagreement between the Softspire and the Ismira as to who will rule or what will happen with Isik once leadership is established. I know you all have mentioned backing the old leadership, Dinara, I believe. And you also, I know, have the ear of some of the undead factions within the city. So I just wanted to know a little bit more about what you hope to accomplish from this meeting, if you don't mind me asking.
Well, we have kind of talked already about the fact that the Empire should not lay claim on Isek anymore, but recognize Isek as a free city under the rules of Dinara, the queen. She was the daughter of the governor of Isek, and its people kind of can we can be friendly with the Empire, but we want to establish some kind of free city charter for Isaac.
He says, and that is a fair request, though. Even when Dinara's family did control Isik, it was under the leadership of the Empire 100 years ago. I know that the Ismira wish to be seated as the new rulers. That is what they are going to push for, and the forces of the Empire are nothing to be trifled with. However, I think there might be a way we can accomplish what you are looking for, but it will require some political maneuvering. He says,
Listening.
during the meeting, there's going to be arguing as to the fate of Isik, obviously. Dinara does have a legitimate claim, though the Ismira will probably challenge the fact that she is no longer a citizen of the Empire. However, the Softspire would be willing to back an Isik ruled by Dinara if they were given a position of power within the city as well. He says, does your queen have any wish to share the power over Isik, or is she set on ruling and keeping the Empire out of its politics? Because she could have a valuable ally with us, the Softspire.
The question I have for you is, what about if it was the Warforged instead of Dinara? Is that because Dinara is an undead?
Well, he says certainly the. And he looks at you kind of curiously when you say that. Warforged. You mean the faction that controls the vaults under the church?
The cathedral. Yes, that's the cathedral.
He says, is she a Warforged? I thought she was a ghost.
No, Dinara is undead, but I'm asking, is that something that's coming up because Dinara is an undead? Would that be different if the leader of the Warforged was the leader of the town?
I think a Warforged ruler would certainly be an easier sell. Many don't even know what a Warforged is, but a case could probably be made to the council. The Ismira were sent to handle this for the council, but the Softspire are also witnesses and given some word over as well. So they're. He thinks about it. He says, I think a Warforged would be an easier sell, yes, over an undead ruler.
So your people have met with Nimble, right? Independently. You have established relation with them. Yes.
Yes, he seems quite a polite and well-mannered Warforged construct.
So if we were offering if we were proposing a seat, a council seat, like a city council with 5 seats, one for the Warforge, one for Dinara as a mayor, let's say, or governor, one for another ally we have in town, one for ourselves, and one for Softspire. Would that be a position of power that would fit the Softspire need?
So what were the 5 seats again? The Warforged.
Warforged, Dinara, she would have like a tie-breaking vote just in case there is a tie break on the Council of Five.
Yeah.
The Shadowstalkers. We have another ally we haven't really mentioned yet, but which which is part of the fabric of the city here, and we could open a seat. We could offer a seat to the Subspire on the council.
Who is this other ally?
Well, let's not talk about her yet. She has been living here for a long time, and she has no reason to leave. She will be an important factor in maintaining the peace or helping defend Isaac if the Empire were to start being a little bit too invasive, if you see what I mean.
This is how curious. Is it someone of the Feywild? He says, kind of looking over at Ripple and Riven.
Oh no, we don't need a suit. We'll just help our friends if we need to.
He says, "I'm."
Yes, it's not. No, it's not. And that person may or may not accept the seat. So you have to know that it could be if that person or if that ally does not want to be handling the matter, she would not have a seat. So it would be a 4 or 5 people, a 4 or 5 person seat on the council, depending on her decision. But she would be offered a seat.
He looks to Tal. He says, "You were a judge for, I believe, what town were you from? I'm forgetting."
I don't know. I don't think I said it.
Okay. He says, "Well, as a
I
as a
thought you were
seated,
saying I'm from Getting.
yeah.
as a seated judge of the Empire, I think you would probably bring a lot of legitimacy to a suggestion of a council. I don't think that was something that anyone was considering." He kind of scratches his chin a bit. Give me a persuasion check, Calgrod and Tal, I guess.
Oh boy. Come on. Why do I have that? I'm not sure why it rolled with advantage. Oh, yeah, because it's 2 that way.
Yeah, it just always rolls 2, and you can either,
Yeah.
if you don't have either, you just take the first number, which would be
Yep.
8. So he nods and says that will certainly anger the Izmira. Kind of a small smile coming to the edge of his face, and he says, "But I think that it's a good argument to make. There would be." It would still be considered an Empire territory to make this work, but it would be mostly hands off from the Empire's main council. other than probably some taxations and things like that. Are you set on being a free city, or are you okay being under the purview of the Empire with this council ruling the city?
We want no parts into the Crimson Dagger influence, and in that sense, we are going to be a free city.
He says, "You don't really have to worry. I am not. I'm no longer a agent of the Crimson Dagger, at least not officially. And I don't think the Crimson Dagger would have any reason to be here unless there is some magical threat that we don't know about." He kind of looks at you
I'll
curiously.
I mean, there are several magical threats, but we are dealing with at the moment.
He says, "And you would not want the aid of the Crimson Dagger in these ventures? We could offer quite a bit of help."
Well,
Or they
we
could.
already requested help with our deserted ally.
And
But
they've got loads of friends.
The main thing we want to avoid is the Empire moving in here and basically, what's the word? Taking the living room of the current inhabitants. You know that the general populace would not coexist with the undead or
He nods.
constructs.
He says, "Well, the undead would probably pose a problem, though. If we separated the undead from the living, it could work out. It's definitely a complicated situation. I know they do want to bring people back in here and start up the old markets that that had existed once. There's a lot of potential for trade with the Nazic Empire, as well as a easier path to the Dwarven empires of the West. But
we
Colonization is what you're talking about. You want to colonize this place.
he says, well, technically, this place was Empire lands before the disaster 100 years ago.
Well, I would say Finder Keepers, the Empire has not done anything for it for the past 100 years, right?
He says, no, there was worry of dedicating too many of the Allies' forces with the wars with Nazic and some of the barbarian tribes. We didn't have the resources to come in and do anything, but with recent happenings with the reduction of the undead and Blackwater's expeditions here, it was decided that it might be time to make the move, especially since there's been a peace with the Nazic lands to the west.
So,
What's the legal precedent here? Like, if an empire just abandons a city, does it still have a claim over it?
Says, well,
I agree.
It's definitely a complicated matter, but I think the claim more comes from the fact that it was in the past an empire city. I mean, do you see a problem with people living here again? It seems like it would be good for everyone.
Yes, but that would be
back in.
That would be people that do not belong to the Empire. I mean, obviously there will be people coming from the Empire, but we will have our own army. We will have our own tax levy. We can trade with the Empire. As for paying taxes to the Empire, I mean, we can discuss for example, keeping the barbarians from the Iron Tides and on the other side from I mean, we would be clearly in first position to defend the Empire against such a threat. So I'm not sure where the taxation or the payment can go, but you would have to make sure that even if the soft power are on the council, they have a voice, but they have the city would be a free city.
Says, well, that will certainly be a harder sell, but I think with the help of the Softspire as an ally at the table, there could be an argument made that the Empire will still have a place within the leadership, so that might work.
And yes, the presence of Tal here also would be, clearly, us as the Shadowstalkers having such a representative is the other argument for sure.
He says, "Do you plan to stay in the city? I thought your group was more of a wandering group."
Well, we have some representatives that are maybe settling here, and even if we are wandering, would be our representatives through that council.
Give me another set of persuasion checks. Okay. So he looks to Tal and says, "I think I can get Lady Softspire on board with this. Do you have anything else you can offer us for this alliance besides a seat on the council? Perhaps some funding or some gift?"
Oh. The fact that if you don't agree to it, we will just rain down hell on the Empire and bring armies from the Fire Plane and
Ooh,
Feywild.
give me a persuasion with
Plane?
disadvantage. Well, actually, Intimidation.
Cool. Already have disadvantage. 26.
He looks at you a little curiously.
Oh,
says,
I didn't actually introduce myself, did I? I'm Prince Ripple.
He says, "I apologize. I've never heard of you."
No. That's fine.
He says, "But that all sounds very serious, Prince Ripple. I would not want to upset the Prince of the Fire Plane, is it?" He says a little, maybe incredulously.
Well, no, I'm Prince of the Summer Court and an envoy to the Grand Sultan.
He says, "Well, I'm not sure what investment you have in this political matter, but if you wish to bring whatever courts to the table to be represented, I would be happy to hear your claims in all of this. But
That's why I'm here.
I will ask you, I guess, Tal, or do you have an official title? Judge something?
No.
Okay.
So I assume all of the trade that goes through the city is going to be taxed by the city. And we could offer the Empire reduced tax rates on that.
He says, yeah, that could definitely be profitable. He thinks for a moment. I'm just trying to remember exactly what he knows, so I don't say something he wouldn't know. All right. Well, to avoid fighting with the summer courts, as well as gain power within the trade that is hopefully to come, I think the soft spires can accept this proposal. There will probably be a lot of. Or go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question for you. Do you want us to bring that up as offering a council to the Softspire family so that it comes from us, or do you want to make the claim while we are describing the nature of the council that will rule Isek?
He says it'll be discussed in court when we have our meeting. I can bring it up, and you can just maybe mull it over a bit and pretend you didn't make the offer beforehand. Obviously, this meeting never took place.
Okay. We should start it at our original offer, and then.
Yeah, we can definitely argue up to it. He says. And he
so the way we are going to argue it is that the initial council of Isek was supposed to be with 3 parties. The Warforged, Dinara, and this third ally we talked about. We can open that to 5 parties by adding Tal here representing the Shadowstalkers and your family, and make that a formal offer based on your request. Would that work?
Says, I think so. Also, do you have a good someone? I don't know how he'd put it. Someone good at politics among you who could help with these arguments, as I am almost positive the Izmir will not be happy about these terms, and there's going to be a lot of negotiations that need to take place.
Ripple
Sorry.
will look at Ribbon, who's probably better at politics, but I know I've got a decent persuasion.
If well, in my little stint in the Feywilds, I probably have learned a little bit about how to play politics. The problem is you need both sides to agree to it, and as far as we know, the people who have so far successfully ruled over Isik without any requirement, the Empire don't see a need for your involvement. So they believe they have the stronger hand, so why on earth would they agree to a council of 5?
Well, I can answer that, Malistray says. They don't know exactly the dangers of Isik. They don't know what's become of the ghouls. They don't know all the powers at play. While they do think they have a strong hand with the armies they brought, there's a lot of uncertainty. And even though we are in peace times, we don't want to have a costly war. It's, as I said, why we haven't come back to retake the land that was destroyed by the ritual in the first place. So I think he looks to Ripple. He says, if what you say is true about armies of the... Well, how did you put it?
Oh, I'll
Feywild
bring
and
hordes of
Fire
fire
Plane.
elementals and fairies, and it'll just be a whole fucking mess for you. But we'd rather be friends.
He says, yes, if you actually do have those resources, it could be a good card to play to intimidate the Izmira a bit. Though you
Quite.
probably... He says, well, what reason would your people have for getting involved in this? I mean,
Oh.
we haven't heard anything from the Feywild or the Elemental Planes for literally cycles of destruction. I mean, no one... Yeah. Your people have mostly stayed neutral. Why would they be interested in this border dispute?
Trade, prosperity, other reasons, fun. It's been a while since we've been to war.
I see. Well, for sure that would be a card to play. And
This is a trade negotiation, not a land treaty.
Also, the fifth party can play a major part in the defense of the city. Do we know if she's coming to the meeting?
If she'll be around.
Yeah, I think we. So out of character here, just we mentioned that she will be on stand. I think Belfire asked her to be on standby, not far from the meeting, and we would certainly have told her that she will have a role into ISEC, and the keep will remain her place. So I don't know how she has reacted to that, but this is kind of the approach. We don't want to give her away yet, our presence away, until we really have to.
As well, if she is or if she has resources that could be a danger to the Empire forces, as well as these summer courts you mentioned, I think that might be It's tricky, he says. The Izmira are a very powerful family, very proud. So, intimidation. On one hand, you do have the resources to intimidate. On the other hand, you don't want to push too hard, as obviously it could become a pride thing, which would make this way more complicated. So I would be careful where to use intimidation versus persuasion, if that makes sense.
Of course, we will want things like freedom of movement and fair trade agreements.
He nods.
But the rulership of the city, I don't believe, would be a negotiation point.
He
Oh my
says,
god, it's Brexit.
there we
Oh,
go.
so
Sorry.
No free moment. All right. So he
We're doing a Brexit for
Yeah.
a sec.
Essex the UK and then the Empire's the EU. Sorry.
that
Getting-
is apt, but
getting
I
too
will go
political.
politics all day long on this.
No, I just found it rather funny. Sorry.
It's fine. So Malistray would say, "Are both? Well, you're both in your normal forms, right? Ripple and Ribbon.
No, I still look like the halfling.
Oh, okay, so
I
never mind.
look like a fairy wearing different clothes to what I'm wearing, but I
Yeah.
am a fairy.
So so he wouldn't expect Ribbon to be. Although you would guess he probably sees your magic auras, he probably wouldn't expect you to be Fey
Yeah.
as well. So he he nods and says, I think I think this could work. We just have to be cautious about how we play our hand. As long as we don't get the Asmira too mad, because I can see. Yeah, hang on, let me get names.
Oh, I'm not going
I
to threaten
can.
to burn down our house. I'm just going to let her know that
He says, "Yeah, I can
if the
see."
Empire attacks, we can defend.
As much as I dislike Bakor politically, I know he is one of the better Asmira leaders, at least in terms of keeping his cool. Way better than his father, anyway. As long as we're cautious, I think we can navigate these waters.
Question about the Izmira. What are they generally after here? Because it works to know the angle of everyone to come up with an argument against it.
He says, well, the Izmira took this thinking that they could claim power once the city was freed from the undead. The revelation of the undead not wanting to fight kind of took everyone off guard because we thought they were just mindless ghouls, but apparently there's more to it, is what we had found out. They also... Or go ahead.
Why would they want Isset? It's a dead city, according to you, for 100 years.
As well,
what purpose does it have for them?
The promise of trade, if it is cleaned up, and opening the old roads to the Western Dwarven Empire, or what is it? Western. Do I have the names
What
here?
is it that they
The
primarily
Western Drogoth Empire, as well as the Nazic Empire routes, the trade that it could bring in, would make it easier to bring supplies into the country.
So Nazic are the goblins, right?
The Nazic are a large conglomerate of warlords. It's hobgoblins, but it's a bunch of other like orcs, hobgoblins, lots of humans too. It's just like a whole group of these like large warlord clans that kind of make uneasy alliances and control that territory of the desert, as well as beyond a bit outside of the desert. He says, but there used to be a lot of money to be made through the trade agreements that could be brought back.
And perhaps we can offer this family a significant reduction in the taxations of moving goods through the city. If money's what they're after.
He says maybe, though. I think they're more after the power that would come with ruling over a major city. But I think they can be convinced that this is the better route to keep independence, especially with the threat of war from the Feywild and whatever other hidden dangers you have. But or I should say, the Asmira also have their own cards to play. They have resources beyond the armies they brought, which are less obvious. So I think war would be detrimental to everyone.
Oh, yeah. War's always
So
more costly than people imagine, which is why we want to be friends.
he nods and says, yes, indeed. So I think we have a good plan, though. I'm much more. Actually, this negotiation went much different than I thought it would. Do you have anything else to add? Anything else I should know about?
We will make sure that our allies are visible at the entrance, at the edge of the city, like the Warforged, the Undeads. Also, we actually have some contact with the Nazic Empire already, which kind of will show that they are on our side too.
Oh, who do you know from the Azik or Nazik?
Well, let's keep it let's keep it as a show for now, but it will clearly indicate that we there's more forces at play here than what the Empire thinks there is right now.
Are you speaking out of game? Are you talking about Orcard?
Actually, I'm talking about the hobgoblins from Jean-Luc, but yes, our card.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you could call them like a Nazik
Yeah.
war band at this point. There's like 12
Well,
of them, but sure.
yeah, but that would be enough of if we like show 12, a dozen hobgoblins, a dozen undead, and a dozen warforged at the edge of the town. That's already kind of a sign that. So that's why I'm kind of.
So is this more of a deception type thing?
Yeah, more like to show presence over there, even if we know there's no more goblins right now.
All right.
I don't know
but
if that's
just-
a good idea. It might threaten them more than, or like invite them to attack us to keep us away from the Nazic Empire, from their influence.
Well, so they will have their army lined up behind them, right? Too. So we'll see the army. They can see our people. So the more we make the impression that we have allies, even if they are not sure. The only one I don't want to kind of show our hand with is Xana, but the others, I mean, especially as they are willing to trade with the Nazi Empire, they don't consider it as enemies, right? Or am I mistaken, Lou, on that?
So there's an uneasy peace with the Nazic Empire. There's been a good amount of war with them over the years. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it might, if they thought the Nazic had influence over the town, it might not be great.
Okay, so it's probably better to say what Tal is saying, that
Yeah,
we
maybe
keep
keep
the
them
hobgoblin hidden.
Yeah.
I got it.
And Malistray would agree with that. He says, yeah, there's an uneasy peace, but yeah, if we suggest that the Nazic might have some control over the city, that might actually antagonize.
Okay.
Especially if the
Fair enough.
Esmira are not getting a seat at the council, which it sounds like you don't want to give them that.
Well, you don't want them to have it, right?
He kind of smiles and says, "Yeah, no, that's fair. Yes, I guess I was kind of obvious at that, but if you wanted to give them a seat, I wouldn't." He says, "Yeah, why don't we just say no? We'll try to keep them out."
Hey, hold on. We could have a wording that is that we are giving one seat on the council to the Empire. Who the Empire decides to fill the seats is up to them.
Well, and we would wish it to be us, if we are to be your allies in this negotiation.
Any seat that belongs to the Empire would automatically give them claim to the city.
Well, at least give them some claim to it.
Yeah.
All right. So, is there anything else you want to discuss with him? Because I think he's pretty much exhausted what he wants to talk about.
Not done here.
All right. So he would nod and say, "All right. Again, we never had this meeting, and hopefully things go well." I'll say it's been about a half hour. So it is now.
So we can spend some time just discussing. So we're presenting our query as having a council of three, representing ISEC as a free city, when they start pushing back, we say we can open 2 seats, and one for Tal here and the Shadowstalker, and one for the Empire and whoever family. I mean, obviously offering the seat to the Soft Spire. Would that work, guys?
It
You guys
has
okay with
to be
that plan?
clear to them. I'm assuming Magistrate's gone.
Yeah, he
So,
left.
listen, it has to be clear to them that we are ready and capable of defending this place. If they, for
Yes.
1 second, think they can take it by force, negotiations mean nothing.
I
Yep,
think
no,
it
I
might
agree.
be a good idea to show off Senna.
Yeah, I agree with that too. If we can do that as a signal, have her do a flyby above when we kind of signal her or something like that. I think that that is effectively a good show of force.
Sorry, I'm still learning people's name. We're talking about the dragon.
Yeah.
Then
Have Senna at the meeting.
not have her here at the meeting unless she wants to. We can go talk to her, but have her stand by on the edge with some of the Warforged and the undead, and then change in her dragon form and do a high flyby so that she doesn't threaten anybody, but she's clearly seen by everybody.
I
Oh, I
wouldn't
would-
have her change into a dragon form, because if they do try for a fight, they wouldn't know you have a dragon, which would give us an advantage if it came to a fight, opposed to them knowing there's a dragon and then them coming prepared to fight one.
Yeah, that was my initial thought, but like Tal is saying, and you guys are mentioning, that may be a show of force when we kind of
having a dragon sat at the table in her dragon form is an excellent option for preventing a fight from even happening.
Well, I don't know how much we mostly talk to Zana through Balefire, who is not going to be there, and our main interest is to have the keep for herself, and the keep will remain a no man's. So if effectively the city is threatened, the keep will be threatened, so she will help us. But I don't know how much she really wants in terms of power. That's why, I mean, we can go talk to her and see if she's be interested to be on the table.
Before we have this meeting, we should really talk with them and offer them and tell them what they're offering, to know what the Council of 3 are willing to give up or keep, to know what we're offering. So we need to talk to them anyway. So we might as well go and talk to Zena first and then know where we stand with her.
Okay. Yeah, and we were going to meet them before we head there, right? We're going to meet Dinara, Prime or Nimble, and Zana, so we can have that talk pretty much as we are about to head over there. Or we can do it now, actually.
Yeah, it's about 3 p.m. right now. So you got 2 hours.
All right, so
I'm kind of good at talking in all senses of the way. So you guys want me to just sit there quietly and then have a signal and I'll be all intimidating, or I can be sat there and wait for you guys to say, and then I can be all persuaded.
Okay.
What do you
So
want me to...
well, I mean, we need to be assertive about Free City and the Council of 3, and then open up to this opening to extend the council to, or maybe we start with the Council of 4, so that there's no kind of question that the Shadowstalkers are involved. But we point out that Tal is part of the Shadowstalker, so there is a link to the Empire there, and we open the 5th seat to the Soft Spire family.
We should start off with Dinara just being queen of the city.
Okay. So you think that should be because that was our starting point. So
yeah.
Okay, we should start from that point and then go step by step.
And then,
well, she can be the queen of the city who sits on the council.
So negotiate down from Queen of City to Council. Is that what you're saying? Out of character.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Here's the thing. You could do it as it's a council with her still as queen of the city, with her as the deciding vote amongst 4. So 3 decide, and when there's when no one can agree, she has the authority to overrule. And then, if the empire has an issue, you then open it up to offering them a seat, like you said,
Yep.
a seat for a representative from the empire, with Dinara still being queen. Now, they have a seat as a representative, but they do not have authority.
I wouldn't say they have I wouldn't give them a seat on the council. I would give them an embassy and allow their ambassador to sit on meetings.
I mean,
Well,
that's basically what would be expected anyway. I don't think that's
But without,
anything.
if we don't word it right, they won't assume that. They'll assume something else. That's why we need to know exactly what people are willing to give up and what they won't, so we can word it very well and get what we want.
If you give them a seat on the Council of 5, you are effectively giving up a fifth of the city's sovereignty.
Yes, which I have a feeling that the Empire as a whole won't go for anything less.
yeah, that's our buy-in for the Empire. Plus
But
what Tal said about reduced tax for the Empire on the trade. But no to the Empire taxing us. We tax trade. The city tax the trades going through. The city decide of a lower tax for the Empire because they have a seat on the council, and we have and the Empire has a seat on the council through the Southspire, so they can participate to decision making.
Until we talk to the others to know what they want to give up and what they don't want to give up, we're not sure what we've got. So we might as well ask all and no. So the dragon first.
So yeah, we're pretty sure that both Dinara and Demi Prime are kind of going with us at that point, and would probably be okay with that. The only unknown remains Anna. Yes.
So ask her first to know where she.
All right. So you want to go try to talk to Zana?
Yeah.
All right, so
also, trade deals have to be balanced. Like, if we give them lower import taxes, like, they also need to give us lower import taxes. Like, it has to be balanced. Otherwise, trade agreements don't work.
Yep.
And it would make them less money in the long run.
Well, as long the only thing we don't want them to have the impression that they can tax ISEC. That's the main thing. That ISEC needs to be a free city, not like an appendage of the empire, and so that's the main. What Tal proposed was.
There needs to be an acknowledgement of independence from the empire side. They need to put that in writing. And effectively renounce their claim.
Right,
let's not put it that way. Yeah, sorry.
I'm going to just reveal this map now since you all pretty much seen it anyway.
On the way, Riven was going to say to Tal, you really need to come up with a good title. Good titles are impressive. They're imposing. You need to come up with one just to be important.
Isn't Judge a title?
What title?
Judge.
No, you need like a more Judge Tal. It's not really. You need something more impactful.
Well,
Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd.
My full name is Ethertal Raylan.
I am the law.
But I don't know. Never felt like that belonged to me.
Ethertal Rayland, Judge of Law and Order. That's a good title.
Oh my god, please don't call me that.
Why?
I prefer Arbiter. Arbiter sounds better.
Yes, it does. Arbiter of Law and Order.
It's a very Feywild thing to say.
Arbiter of Law and Order.
Better title. Alright, so anyway.
I imagine Riven's like scribbling this out on a scroll or something.
Yeah,
what god is Tal? What god is it you worship?
I don't think I want to tell you.
Can I tell why? Does he have a religious symbol? Can I tell?
Do you have a religious symbol?
Yeah.
What do you have religion?
I haven't got it trained. No.
Oh, so you probably wouldn't know because I don't think he worships a very common deity. So,
Well, it is a prime deity, so
oh, I'll go ahead and give me a religion check, sure. It's up to you if you want to tell him, Tal.
I mean he knows already from the other campaign, so
No, I know, but yeah, Riven.
Yeah.
This Riven doesn't know. Go on. So I'm going with it. So go on. It's if you want to tell me.
I don't know if you know. I don't know. You decide if you know it with a 10.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
But I am going to telepathically ask Cal. Cal got to go. What god does he worship?
Actually, I may not have any idea about that.
Ripple will just be like,
Let's
he's got the fancy inks out. It's really important.
Yeah, Calvard is not super into that area, even if he's a cleric of Shandakur, but it's more for the traveling part. Let me roll that. I'm pretty sure I don't remember Tal mentioning anything about this god actually.
Probably not.
So yeah. I'm
Right.
probably not very aware. I know he's a cleric or a paladin, but I do not know what. Well, a cleric for sure.
Well, I'll finish your title off when I learn what god it is, but we've got a good start.
Arbiter Tal.
Well, it's the full name plus, but I can't remember the full name. I've forgotten.
It's in the short term.
High Judge
In the
Arbiter.
party thing.
No, literally, I'm gonna do like full name: Arbiter of Law and Order, High Judge 2, God.
The basic rule of thumb is the more words are in your title, the better
Yeah.
it is. So
You haven't heard Riven's title yet.
you just gotta keep talking, and they get more and more impressed, right?
Believe me, when you hear Riven's title, it's like, oh shit.
All right. So, or go ahead.
So before we go to Sitana, I'm going to drop all the items that we probably have left them at Karen. Just pointing out that I'm just traveling pretty light without all the shared loot and stuff like that. It's staying at Karen.
Okay.
Do we have any really large items that we need to take with us, like all the time, but don't need to like get every day?
No. Yep.
I can carry like a lot of stuff, but I can't get it all the time.
Is that your genie thing?
Yeah, it's like a 20-foot by 20-foot by 20-foot cylinder.
Yeah, it's almost like a
massive.
little stronghold you can access. Tiny, it's like
Yeah,
a studio
I
apartment.
don't know. I don't know if Calgard is yet at the point where you would trust Reaper that way.
That's true. He's only known him for like 2 or 3 days, so.
With his gold bars. And there's this issue of there was this detect lie that he kind of saved against, and there's still a little bit of hesitation on Calgard's side. He likes Reaper, but he's still a little bit,
Yeah.
not sure.
You cast magic on me, and you're insulted that I saved. Okay.
Well, he knows that you saved,
No.
like from the spell.
Mortals are funny things.
Yes.
Yeah, like when
So,
you.
knowing.
It's the that was the I think he knows that you saved. That's part of the
Yes.
spell description.
No. Yeah, he knows that I saved, but like he cast a spell on me that I just resisted naturally,
True.
and he's suspicious of that.
I
didn't know what he
mean,
was fucking casting.
have you met Calgrod? He's like super like
Fine.
what's it called? Conspiracy theory guy.
Totally.
Every time there's
Got it,
like
Paul.
something suspicious, he's like, I bet Blackwater was in on it.
Oh,
He
no,
must
I
have been
can't
in
make
on
it
it. The
work.
signs all like he has his like whiteboard up and he's like drawing lines. He's like, it only makes sense.
3 weeks
I
ago,
can't
you were
make
drank
it work.
tea, which is this. Jesus.
Yeah, he's a
All
very
right.
suspicious dude of everyone.
Yes, he is.
All right, so you are heading up to see Zana. The Drakes will
Riven
permit
will
you.
have dropped. Riven will have dropped his disguised self as a halfling and just look like himself, but he'll be like in a black and white outfit with I know what it is. Yeah.
So you are allowed to access the roof. The drakes will let you pass. As you get up there, one of them goes into the lair. And a moment later, a large shadowy dragon will emerge from the hole in the tower here, fly over and land in front of the party, looking very impressive.
Hello.
He says, well met again, Shadowstalkers.
Well, now you're big.
She smiles and says, I don't think we've met. When she sees Ripple and Riven.
I have met.
Oh, did you? Okay, so then Riven then.
No, Riven Mulberry.
I am Xanthanor, Shadow Dragon, as you probably would have guessed. It is good to meet you. So what brings the shadows... Or go ahead, sorry.
No, I'm gonna say, pleasure to meet you, my dear.
And you.
And back.
She gives a smile and says, so what brings the Shadowstalkers to my lair? I see that Balefire is not with you.
Yeah, we wanted to touch base because he decided to leave. He probably said his goodbyes to you already and shared what we were about to do for Isek, right?
He told me of his plans, told me a bit of your plans for Isek. But if you wish to speak more about them, I would be happy to hear.
Well, we already have told you that the keep is your domain, and we intend to make sure that the keep is not threatened by whatever Isek is going to become. And we want you to be a part of what Isek, or free Isek, as we are going to call it, will be in the future. A place welcoming to anybody from dragons, undeads, humans, and others.
Will there be humans within the city?
Well, yes, the city is going to now that the curse is mostly lifted and the ghouls are not a threat anymore. It is very natural that the city start to live again, but with the keep being your domain within the city.
Give me a persuasion check with advantage.
And I don't know if you like eating them, but the last dragon I met liked eating them. More people around means more food.
Wow. I assume that the people of Isik would have a problem with me hunting them. I would probably choose...
You like the criminals.
She sort of laughs at that. She says, there's plenty of food to hunt around the countryside. I do not need to hunt humans. Though, if they do stray off course and come too close or inside my keep, I will have no second thoughts about destroying them and feeding upon them. Or my drakes will destroy them. As long as they agree to be kept out, which humans often have a problem with. Their greed and wishes for power and land are legendary among my kind.
Yeah, that is what we try to keep in check here.
But if they can stay away, then I can stay away from them. Yeah. Go ahead. What were you saying, Tom?
If you were willing to help us with a bit of a show of force today, and maybe you want to be part of the rulership of the new Isik,
not interested.
That would help a great deal.
She says, I'm not really interested in human politics, though I do enjoy it when humans admire me, and she smiles a bit. I'd be happy to give a show of force. She says, as I told Balefire, these humans are a little bit more formidable than they initially seemed. They have lots of skilled mercenaries with them, who probably have access to powerful magics. So defeating them would not be as simple as flying over their forces and letting loose my breath weapon.
Maybe we aren't waiting. We aren't looking for a fight. We're trying to avoid one.
She says, well, what do you mean by a show of force, then?
Just show off, fly in the distance, maybe breathe in the air a bit. I don't know.
Shoot breath weapon everywhere.
Yeah. Using the breath weapon is very, like, aggressive. Maybe we should just, like, have a sit at the table and just be like, fuck with me and I'll eat your head.
She says, how would I sit at a table? Tables are too small for me.
Here's a question.
I suppose I could be in human form, but that kind of defeats the purpose of a show of force.
Here's a question. How much would you like to be in the Council of Three? Or however many we end up having.
As I said, I don't have much of an interest in human politics. I wish to keep my lair for my prizes that I've stored over the years.
But you being on the council will allow you to keep your lair and make sure that everybody remembers to stay away, and that should anyone come close and you and your drakes rightfully devour them, you have a voice to explain yourself, as opposed to this wild card that's devouring people when people can't really argue with you.
She says, well, that's the point. They can't argue with me, and as long as they stay away, I won't devour them. But you're saying I should be on this council so I can tell them why I've devoured people who tried to enter my lair?
I'm saying you should be on the council so that you can keep a pulse of what's going on in the city that you live in, because whilst you do live in the keep, the entire city is also part that would affect you. Keeping abreast of information and current affairs is not a bad thing, even for one who does not wish to be involved in them.
She says, I understand your logic, it just sounds so boring. I'm surprised a member of the Feywild would even make such a suggestion.
You don't get to live as long as I do without knowing how to play people. Besides, it's fun playing people, watching them screw themselves over. It's fun, outliving them all.
Give me a persuasion check.
Why are you not doing it? Murder. Hang on. My Wi-Fi's playing off.
Reload or something?
No, my Wi-Fi's playing off. I don't know why. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's sent.
So, let's see, 17. I suppose if it is not too time consuming, I could accept a seat on this council. Though I don't imagine there would be much for me to do other than warn people to stay away from my my affairs.
Also, having the seat on the council, you don't have to go to every meeting. Just turn up once in a while. Be a nice way to get out, see people.
If it will... He just gives you a look when you say that. If it will help...
Here's... Turn.
She says, if it will help protect my lair and treasures, then I can agree to this. You all have been very helpful to me.
About attending the meeting, I have an idea. Go in your human form, but take about 2 drakes with you, and have them, not like pets, but people who have giant dire walls, so they flank you and that you control them, so that it's impressive, but they don't entirely know what you are.
I mean, if you want to go for the cinematic effect, just fly up in dragon form next to us and then switch into your human form and then attend the meeting.
I know, but I'd rather have her do that after when the Empire forces try and play a trump card, as opposed to just, you've got a dragon.
I mean, yes, I agree with that. Is being a shadow dragon not impressive enough for these humans? I need to show my mastery of my pets.
they're humans. Believe me, they're dumb as fuck. No offense.
Thank you.
She just
Sorry.
sighs.
Like,
will,
let's be honest. Humans have a short-term memory at best, and whatever scares them, as soon as they see money or wealth in it, they will happily kill themselves to get it.
yeah, this is a fair point. All right. I will consider bringing drakes, but if I'm going to fly in and land and turn into a human, I don't know where I'd keep the drakes, so I might just leave them behind for
fly-
now.
Don't
I can
fly
bring the
in.
Drake for you.
I'm going to say,
What?
don't fly in. Use that for after, when the Empire forces start to try and get a bit cocky and think they're better than everybody else.
Yeah, and then she switches form in the middle of the meeting. That's a good idea.
No. Then
says-
she walks out.
She says,
I
wouldn't
can think of
turning
one.
into a dragon suddenly, I feel like that would provoke them, as they would think I was getting ready to eat them.
It would. So you come in as a dragon and then turn into you dress up like a human, and then I can be all like, I've brought you drakes with me because I can bring you drakes with me.
We can do that.
Uh, if bringing my drakes will help, I can have you. How would you bring my drakes with you? She says curiously. You seem a bit small. No offense.
Well, Sprig. Where's Sprig? Is he hiding again? No, he's there. Sprig will fly me in, and I'll be in my house, and your drakes will be in there, and I'll give them lots of pets and lots of scratches.
You have a house?
I have a house.
Well, if
You
if
want
that
to come in my house?
would I fit inside of your house?
Yes.
I think I'll pass for now, she says. I don't know you well enough to go places magically with you. No offense.
No, that's a very wise choice. Can I still
Let's
take
find
drakes?
the three
I don't-
scariest
I don't
looking
teleport
biggest
with
drakes.
strangers.
I
Never
don't teleport with
Never
strangers.
know where you're gonna end up. Even as a dragon, that's a bad idea. So, in any case, I think I can accept a seat on the council. You've made a good argument as to why it would be helpful for me, and if I don't have to be there all the time, I can just use this political position when needed.
Definitely. The best point of having a position of power, using it when you want to.
He says, "Is there anything else?" She says that.
So for the show force, I'm more on Tal's side that when we need it, we'll kind of signal you. There will be some kind of signal we have to figure out where you can take off on the air and kind of fly around without coming in anywhere close to anybody so as to not threaten, but to kind of show your presence, to everybody at that point.
So I'm not.
If it's not done at the start of the meeting, then it's going to be obvious that we're trying to do it to intimidate them. And so if she comes in like halfway through the meeting, then they'll be thinking they're showing us they've got a dragon because they don't like our arguments. How do we kill a dragon? They do it at the start of the meeting. It's like they're bringing a dragon along because there's a dragon here to talk. That's scary as fuck. It works better at the start of the meeting than halfway through.
She
I
says
think he's right.
it could also be
I'd go
seen
with-
as a show of force, she says, or that I'm planning to attack if I just suddenly turned into a dragon. I would agree with that. So,
Yeah.
I would, she says, I would suggest I let them know I'm a dragon right away, just so they're not surprised by it, thinking we're sneak attacking them or something. If I just to suddenly reveal that in the middle of the meeting, they might see it as a sign of attack. But I will leave the decision to you and your group. I just that is my personal thought.
You're right. Fly in first and then turn into your dragon self. Turn into your human self. That's good.
She looks to Tal and Calgrod. Is this acceptable?
Of course.
Very well.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you all wish to speak to me about?
Yes.
Really?
I want to pet the drakes. They look so cute.
She says, you
Please.
may pet the drakes, just do not try to use any magic or any make any threatening movements, or else they might try to eat you.
Okay. I'm going to put the bush over to a drake and stop petting it.
Alright, the drakes are actually pretty big. They're like, how big are drakes actually? Or are they medium sized?
medium.
I forget. Alright, so
Really
they're like,
tiny, really short.
yeah, they're like,
They're like this.
yeah, they're pretty. I mean, to you they're huge because you're small, but
I'm like a 2 foot tall fairy.
yeah, you could ride on one of these drakes. But yeah, they're pretty big and muscular. They seem to be like they're not looking threateningly at you, probably because they know that Zana is or you're an ally of hers. They're just kind of sitting there in a neutral stance, watching.
Even we'll fly up to eye level with Zana and bow.
She gives you a smile and says, I have never been to the Feywild. I was drugged to the Shadowfell as a young dragon, which is why I now have this form. I don't know if corrupted is the right word, but infused by the energies there. I've always been kind of curious what the Feywild is like.
Well, maybe one day we can take you.
As maybe. Although I'm worried what the energies there would do to me now that I have so much negative energy infused with me.
Maybe we'll help give you positive energy and cancel them out.
I'm not sure that's how it works, but perhaps.
The Feywild is very weird, believe me. It changes with the mood you feel.
She nods.
It's really weird to be in such a material plane that doesn't change when you're happy or sad, honestly.
Well,
Really
perhaps someday then it would be good to visit. All right. Well, so I am coming in at the start of the meeting today at 5.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
And I will.
We would have just synced up with Dinara and Nimble and asked that there is a small group of undead spectre, not the specters, but Dinara's people and Nimble's people kind of loitering at the edge of the town and kind of showing kind of an organized, not loitering, but like standing at attention or something like that to show that
show some of the forces. Yeah. So is what was I gonna say? So she says, just to clarify, the plan is I fly in at the beginning of the meeting in dragon form, then assume human form to put everyone at ease. All right.
Yes.
I shall be there then. And she would take wing and says, I will see you all there. She flies over to her tower, once again re-entering it. Disappearing inside.
Yeah.
Alright, so what does the group want to do? It's probably about 3:30 at this point.
Head to the others.
Yeah, get with. So is Nimble or is that Prime coming with us with Dinar?
I think the plan was the leadership to be there, so Nimble will be there, but Dinara and Demi are also going to be there.
Demi. Right. So we're going to meet with them and start heading toward kind of position the troops in sight, clearly where the tents have been established, and get us cleaned up for the meeting if there is any need.
Okay, so you head over to the cathedral, where actually Demi and Dinara are already kind of there talking to each other about the meeting. Let me get their pictures.
So we are going to explain to them our approach. Start with Queen Dinara, daughter of the governor, free Sack, open up with a council, and then open up a seat of the council to the Soft Spire. so they're aware of that.
You might
Okay.
want to concede an embassy before you concede a seat on the council.
Well, I mean, I'm just kind of making sure they know our plan for coming in there. So I'm just saying what we said before, right?
So do you? I assume. Well, are you going to talk to them about your meeting with Malistray? What to expect?
Yes. Well, unless anybody in the group thinks that's a bad idea, that would be my approach.
It makes sense to tell
Yeah.
these people everything.
Yeah.
We'll just make sure that they don't sleep and that, yeah, the Empire should not be aware that we have already had a meeting about that political approach. But that's probably the way the meeting is going to go unless something unforeseen happens.
She says, "All right. Yeah, we can." Queen Dinara says, "We can. Yeah, we should definitely keep the meeting with Malistray private." And
So are you, Aaron?
we have the dragon, myself, and Demi. What of the vampires? And what
they'll be
of the
killed.
necromancer?
Oh, the
Who's the
necromancer. Elodie is not.
He's
Is not.
dead.
Yeah,
Oh,
something happened.
Wait, we told you about that already.
did you? Did you tell them?
Yeah.
Yep, told them about
Yeah,
Soda.
Yeah,
okay,
because
we did.
they're building a thing down there around it.
The defense.
Okay. I must have forgotten you telling them about what happened to her. I thought you just asked them to guard it. All right. So if you told them, they would say, "Well, what about the vampires? Have we heard anything back from them? Or do we expect them to be a part of any of this, or are they just going to be a danger
No.
for now?"
They're going to be
a
wiped
danger
out by the
for
Empire.
everyone.
All right. So we'll have to figure that out, possibly with the help of.
Yes.
The Empire say they were going to kill them all.
They offered to help.
Here we are.
I would recommend
I mean-
you don't take the help on it if you can handle it yourself, because if you're being all like, "Oh yeah, we need you to help us kill a bunch of vampires," then they're gonna be all like, "These guys aren't that strong."
I would suggest to present it to them as you are helping them, because the vampires have taken some of their people as thralls. So you would be helping the Empire, freeing them.
Yeah,
That's a good
you can
point.
assist the Empire in freeing their people.
I believe that the
Yeah.
humans have lost people to these vampires, Demi says. So that could be a point of us helping them out and giving
Also-
them a reason to help us.
Also, you're all Warforged, so it doesn't really matter to you about vampires because they're not going to drink your blood.
She says, yes,
They can-
they're less of a threat to us. They could still destroy our people. They could see us as a threat. So they're definitely not as dangerous, she says, but they are still a danger. And it would be better if they were dealt with sooner rather than later. Stories of vampires taking control of whole cities through manipulation and taking thralls are well known even in the times of the dwarves, from where
Okay,
we come
quick
from.
Quick question for your council thing, where we are potentially going to give the Empire an embassy here. What are the things you do not at all want to give up, and what are the things you're willing to concede on, so we know what we're negotiating with here?
Well, I spoke with Dinara a bit about this. The Warforged wish to keep the church, and the areas below the church is ours. But Dinara offered to give us some of the land around the church to build upon, so we will happily take that and be part of this council. I've agreed to, while keeping the land and the church for ourselves, be part of this. Or wait, did you tell them about the seats of the council yet? I guess not.
Yeah.
Be part of the city, she says.
Okay, so quick update. So we have a plan of how to keep Isik independent.
All right, and you
Problem
could
is there's multiple. Karen.
I was gonna say you don't have to re-account everything. You could say you tell them about what.
So
yeah.
we explained the whole plan with the whole council and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and the steps of negotiation start with Queen Dinara, so like a 4-person council and a potential extra seat. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, just kind of
And
go
then
over all
all
of it.
the stuff that the Empire potentially might want and argue about. So we want to know roughly what they're willing to negotiate with, like what they're sticking to no matter what, and what are the things that they're willing to give area on.
So she is a little surprised by the idea of a council, but she says, "I think that is a good plan, though. It will alleviate. It will give the Empire some amount of power, but I think that is that would have been inevitable without war, and I don't really want to go to war with them if we can avoid it. I'm hoping that'll be enough for them."
Them
So-
having a seat on the council is the last resort. We're going to hopefully they'll settle for having an embassy.
She
It's the
says,
last resort if they get it.
I doubt they will settle for an embassy, but I am willing to give some power or some representation to them if it means avoiding conflict.
That's fine, but we keep it as a last resort so that,
Yeah. So why don't we do a break? Because we're past the halfway point in case people want to use the restroom or anything.
Yep.
And then we can come back.
Okay.
All right. We'll be back.
Back.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
We could also go for something like Queen Dinara holds the vote of everyone who's absent, and then she has 3 votes if we're not there and Sana isn't there. So she'd effectively be queen.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, I was thinking we can try to convince Jean-Luc to take our seats on the council while we are not there. So I mean we can discuss with Jean-Luc. He has helped us before, and he's still in the city.
Yeah, same issue though. They might take that as a invasion from the Nasek Empire.
No. Jean-Luc is not a hobgoblin. He's a G-Yankee.
Yeah, but
He's
still, he's associated with the Nasek Empire.
Well, he's more related to us as a Shadowstalkers. We brought him as Shadowstalkers.
If we word it that one of the seats on the council is for us, and then I forgot what it's called, but the embassy is for a representative of the empire. You don't actually have to say who, and then they turn up at the thing once it's signed and done. It doesn't matter if they agree with it or not. You just need to get them to agree.
Realistically, it needs to be approached as a trade negotiation rather than negotiating for the city. If they think we've turned up negotiating for the city, they're going to have all the cops in their hands. Realistically, control of the city, as far as we should appear to them, shouldn't be in question.
And let's make sure we offer the seat to the South Spire to make sure that they are siding with us. Because if we just leave the offer as a seat for the Empire, cannot actually point to the South Spire, then we may actually not get their support and cause the whole thing to collapse.
But if you get the other ones though, then you'll get their support, so it doesn't really matter whose support you get. Unless the other ones, the Esmira, are horrible.
So there is a reason why we would not. So the Esmira are the ones that are actually kind of pushed toward. If the Empire is here, it's because the Esmira have kind of pushed for it. So the Esmira may have another agenda related to Isaac, which is probably related to the night weather stuff. Again, I mean, there's no proof, but we know that the Esmer are the ones that have maneuvered to get this army here to Isaac. So having this, so there may be things that we don't know about the Esmera clearly, but at least we'll see how they stand if they have to face both the Soft Spires and us. We'll see where that takes us.
Yeah, realistically, the only role that Ripple will play in this is just to sit there quietly and then react to things not going well, either with a threat of force or persuading us. But realistically,
so what's the trade deal realistically people want? So I know what I'm aiming for to try and get.
So the trade is it's like keeping Isaac free of the Empire, giving the Empire a place on the council through the Soft Spy family, and a lower trade tax around Isaac.
All the Empire, or just certain families in the Empire?
No, all the Empire. All the Empire. Right? I mean, I think that's what Tal was pointing to, right?
Sorry, what? Okay.
For the trade deal, it was a trade deal like a lower tax for all the Empire, the trade going through for the Empire, regardless of the family, not just for a specific family.
If it has more pull to only suggest it to the two families that are here, then
So
that's fine as
try
well.
Okay, so try the two families that are just here, get lower trade, taxes, and then if they don't go for it, all the empire. Cool.
I mean,
Because
Just so I can keep.
that might give them a leg up over the rest of the empire, which is
Okay.
might be what they want.
Yeah, Dinaro would say there's no reason why we have to give lower taxing to the whole empire. I mean, the families will probably want to feel like they're getting, something for their work. So I think it is best to be kept just to these families for now.
Anything else with trade wise you want, like this trade deal you want to try and get? Just so I can keep notes so I know roughly what I'm aiming for.
And you don't have to go too much into the specifics of like trade percentages or anything. We could just say that you are negotiating that as part of this.
Okay.
Realistically, like offering them a 5% import-export tariff would be an excellent deal.
All right. Well, I guess
Yeah, I'm trying to get a better deal than the UK got with Brexit. Okay, I'm trying to do it proper. I don't want to be coming back to this in like a couple of months' time having to renegotiate.
That's not gonna be hard.
I don't want to have to try to renegotiate this. I don't want no hard borders.
You want to have a deal and not no deal type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to do a vote for Isik on deal or no.
Yeah.
That is a point that does need to be clarified. Where the fuck are the borders for Isik?
Yeah, and like again, we don't have to get into the minutia.
No freedom of travel.
Yeah, we don't have to get into the minutiae of the agreement.
This is important.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you really want to, we can start measuring borders, and I don't know if that'll be a good use of our time.
Yeah, no. My main point about the borders was the borders shouldn't be the borders of the city. The borders should extend beyond the city boundary for agriculture and
for the farmlands.
And so the dragon can eat.
In fact, basically, the people inside the city will be beholden to the empire if they don't have any farmland available to them. And therefore, the entire trade negotiation would be pointless.
All right. So are you all set to go? Just pass time till it.
I think I've got things.
Okay. So yeah.
So when we're about to start walking in the open, I'm going to get my warding bond parchment out and cast warding bond to Queen Dinara in a new form and stay next to her.
What does warding bond do?
I'm sharing. So she's got +1 to her AC and saving throw. Let me put that, and I use the scroll that I have. So let me put the wording on here.
Okay. All right.
And I'm using the scroll, so she doesn't need the rings.
All right. So the group.
I will disguise self as the halfling that they keep meeting.
The mysterious halfling.
I will disguise self wearing extremely fancy clothes on top of my extremely fancy clothes.
Your fancy clothes. All right. So you head south to the agreed upon meeting spot at the border. You would get there seeing that they have their armies on the other side of the border, and that the Softspire as well as the Izmira have arrived. So let me get some pictures up. So there's Bakor. There's his main fighter, with him Jazik, and his sister is there as well, who you haven't spoken to much. Azira. And you would also see the Soft Spire people, which is basically just Malistray and Arella.
Well, and Zana, right?
Zana has not arrived yet, I don't think.
Oh.
But it's still early. Well, it's about 5.
Okay. Oh yeah, she wants to kind of do an entrance.
Yeah, give him a good entrance. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else who's here, but I think these are the main players.
Is it just like a meeting table with chairs, or what's like the seating situation?
So inside this old building, there's a table that's been set up to look a little bit nicer than the stuff that was in there before. Why am I not seeing Malistray? Where are you? Did I bury him under someone? Oh, I did. That's why. Okay.
So when we are halfway through, I'll do my usual detect invisibility. It doesn't require the warding bond doesn't require concentration. So
So you don't see anyone invisible. And
Aye.
actually, as you all kind of come to the table, there are bows and introductions. Bakor would say, welcome, friends. Do you mind removing your magical enchantments? As I wish us to all be enchantment-free for this this meeting. Malistray can detect the enchantments on everyone and make sure that no one is using magic to boost their abilities or use any sort of deceptive magics.
That only
So-
extends to divination and illusion, right?
Well, he would say just any magical effect, as we will not have any on us. You can use detect magic to check us if you wish, but I would rather none of you have any as well, just because we don't know what any of those magical effects would be.
If our protection magic would stay.
Give me a persuasion check.
I'm a fairy. I'm always magical.
He says, I'm not expecting any type of need for protection. I think at this point, the only magic they would sense other than your magical items would probably be on Queen Dinara, right? Because you put the spell on her.
We still have the death wards on.
Oh, and the death wards, okay.
I would still have disguise self up.
And so does Riven.
And so does Riven.
So he says, well, can you explain what your magical effects are? And we can use
fairy.
identify to
Always
verify
magical.
them.
I'm a fairy. I'm always magical.
Is that what you're telling him?
Yeah.
All right. So he says, well, do you mind if Malistray identifies your magical auras just to make sure they are what you say?
Fair enough. I am Queen Dinara's bodyguard and protector, and my magic is there to protect her.
I protected all of us with a death ward.
A powerful spell, he says. All right, well, yeah, so this will take some time. So we'll say that Malistray is identifying, and I don't think none of you are hiding what your auras do, right?
No.
Okay. So yeah, he's just making sure that you are using what you say you're using. And there's some introductions. Everyone is getting through some of the titles, as everyone has their impressive titles. Introductions. And while this is happening, there would be a roar from the north as everyone gets a little bit like, what the hell? As a large dragon comes flying through the sky.
Riven doesn't use his title, and Riven doesn't move when he hears it. He just sits there like knowingly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
don't worry. That's our fifth party. Fourth party.
Oh, I was going to say, like, just don't react to it at all.
So the Asmira seem definitely a little bit worried at first, though when you say that, they nod and just kind of relax a bit. Still kind of keeping a watch as the dragon comes flying in, landing next to the building with a large rumble of the ground, and then quickly will transform into her other form and enter the house.
As she enters, I'll just like telekinetically just like pull a chair out for her.
She says, "How kind. Thank you." So they all kind of keep a bit of an eye on her at first. And she just gives them a look. Says, "I would rather not be here, but it is good to meet you all." And then just sits down. Asmira kind of look back and forth, exchanging glances with each other, as well as Malistray and Lady Softspire.
It's very rude to stare.
We introduce Anna, Lady of the Keep, and our force member or force ally. Sorry.
It is good to meet you, Lady Zana. Bakor says, smiling. I must admit, I've not encountered a dragon before in this sort of environment. Generally, my interactions with them have been much more, I guess, warlike rather than negotiating. And she says, "Well, there's been a long history of misunderstandings between our people, so that does not surprise me. But I promise you, I do not wish to harm you unless you try to harm us first." He nods and he says, "That is not my intent. So hopefully we can all go into these negotiations with no fear of fighting or retribution. Even if things don't go well," he says, "I do not want us to come to blows with each other." And she says, "I would hope not." He says, "So kind of as I said, you continue getting the formalities out of the way, introductions take place, and I guess the meeting would start." Bakor would say, "It's good to meet you all. I know we've spoken a little bit before this, but I'm glad we could all come together to figure out the future of Issac." He says, "I was asked by the council to assist the Softspire in these negotiations because my family, of course, has a history of power and influence within the Empire, and I was hoping I could use those resources to smooth over whatever needed to be done to bring back trade and life to the city. Of course, we all know that the situation here is a bit more complicated than we first thought. So I'd like to start out by asking, would you be willing, and I think I might already know the answer to this, but would you be willing to accept a rebuilding effort and Empire control over the city?"
No.
He says, "So what is it that you wish to happen here?"
Well, firstly, we need to establish the reason we're here to negotiate, because, frankly, as far as we're concerned, this is just a trade negotiation. You want to trade with the Nazak Empire and the Dwarven Empire beyond the borders of Issac, and to do so, you must travel through it. So, we're here to help negotiate, to facilitate a transfer of goods from the Empire to them. And we can offer you something.
He says, "Well, trade is part of it, but we also wish to bring life back into the city, to have, once again, the citizens living here and people occupying these houses that were long lost to the atrocity that occurred. Issac was once a great city on the border of the Teruvian Empire, and we hope to once again have it be teeming with life and families.
Which again is something that that we do not have an issue with people coming here, but we will not be a part of the Empire. We have been alone for 100 years, and we have managed to survive without your at all influence.
He says,
We've managed to carve out our own homes and build lives here, so you cannot come in 100 years later claiming some authority over something you abandoned.
give me a persuasion check. He says, I don't know you very well, my halfling friend, but you are a member of the Shadowstalker mercenary band, aren't you? What claims do you have over Isik? And when you say we, it sounds almost as if you're a citizen of the current city.
Because we have a position on the council that will rule over Isik.
He says, and
the Shadowstalkers hold a seat amongst 4 of those who you see assembled here before you. Each one of us with Queen Danara ruling over, having the deciding vote on anything that we are tied on.
He says, and Queen Dinara introduce herself yet?
So we did the introduction.
Yeah, they didn't know she was a Warforged, so they I'm trying to think, would you, I guess you wouldn't have kept that secret, right? You would have introduced her right away.
Yeah,
I said that, I said I was a bodyguard of Queen Dinara here when we talked about the magic effect.
Alright, so he would say, now I was going to ask, Queen Dinara is a spirit. Now you're saying that this is Queen Dinara, this Warforged here?
Her spirit is inhabiting this body.
Like I said to you, in that 100 years you've been gone, we have done great things to rebuild our own city.
Says, well, I don't know much about this sort of magic. Is there a way we can prove this is Dinara's spirit? And not just a Warforged? And Dinara would say, I can guarantee you it is I. I don't know how I could prove it to you.
How?
Tell her your ancestry.
Could you please cast a zone of truth, and that way she can only say who she truly is?
How do we need to prove who she is to these people?
Well, magic would certainly be one way of proving who she is, Malistray says. Unfortunately, I think it might be the best way. I can't really identify her in that way, so a zone of truth might be the answer, he says. Would she be willing to submit to that?
Locate creature might be a less invasive way.
Work as well.
Malistray says, I did not prepare that spell, so I didn't think it would be something I would be using at this meeting. I do have Zone of Truth. Or, wait, does he have Zone of Truth? Let me just check if he can have Zone of Truth. You can keep talking, go ahead.
Why would we need to prove who she is to you anyway?
Well, it would be a little bit... Oh yeah, no, he definitely can have Zone of Truth. It would be a little bit... it would be good to make sure this isn't some kind of trick. And it would also be better for the argument if she is a Warforged versus some sort of undead creature. No offense, of course. She nods and says, if it is what needs to be done, I can submit to this. Kind of looking to the group.
As soon as she answers the question, you drop Zone of Truth.
Alistray nods. He says, I mean, I could keep it unless there's something, in case there's something else that any of you wish to ask us later.
Yeah. Yes, and you start using magic, I start using magic, and all of a sudden your side has an issue with it. If we don't get to use magic, or begrudgingly can't cast any spells, then the same will apply to you.
Nods, he says, he looks to Lady Softspire, and she says, I think it's fair. We can just use this to verify she is who she says. And, alright, so they do that. She will submit, not doing a saving throw, and kind of surprised, they all say, oh. And Malistray especially says, how are you able to attach your spirit to a Warforged body?
That is not what we are here to negotiate, so that is none of your concern.
He nods. This is, of course, my apologies. Queen Dinara, and they kind of start talking a bit about kind of what happened to the city, what happened to her family, getting some more information on the ritual that destroyed Isik. Does anyone else want to try to talk about something while this is happening? Okay.
Here, everything's going to plan. So far, so good.
So, Bakor says, it seems like you all have a decent amount of protection for the city with your specters and with this dragon, of course. So I don't know if you'll have much problem with attacks from the Nazic warlords. However, it would be good to have an ally, and I believe that having the Empire be that ally would be for the best. I don't.
think everyone, the Empire, the Nazic, and the Dwarven, as friends, would be the better benefit. We do not want a confrontational relationship with any of you.
Ideally, but sometimes that is not the case due to the nature of the Nazic Empire and the breakdown of their warlord tribes. There are unfortunate circumstances where certain warlords will become agitated and stop following some of the treaties, especially the smaller groups. So I think beyond just trade, it would be in our best agreements to come to something a little bit more solid in terms of alliances within alliances of Isik and the city. He says, I believe it would be best if the Esmira were these partners and had some sort of power within the city beyond just trade negotiations.
That would not be possible because that would usurp the very idea that we are fighting to defend. We are fighting to keep this city free from Empire control. Now, if you would like to consider having an embassy here so that you can voice your concerns or any things you like to the ruling council, that is something we can negotiate with. But the embassy would be just a representative of whoever the Empire decided to attend, have represent them. You wouldn't have any authority in this free city or in its surrounding area.
This is Queen Dinara was originally a citizen, and her family was under the purview of the Empire. While I agree that she should still retain some of the power because of her family's position, that power should be within the structure of the Empire. And he looks to her and she says, well, that was a different situation. And obviously things have changed with the unfortunate ritual that took the lives of so many of the citizens, including my parents. She says, at this point, Isik is much different from what it used to be, and I don't feel that those types of claims are still warranted.
Especially since the Empire abandoned the city. If she was truly your subject, it was your duty to help her as best as you could.
Bakor nods. He says, and it is unfortunate that the people back then did not act quicker to help.
You say unfortunate, we say quite fortunate, because if your people had decided to act, we would not have been able to establish our own collective free city, which we have managed to do because you fled for 100 years, hiding from something you did not understand and did not seek to find out the truth of what happened to your own citizens. So as such, we took care of each other.
He says, my tiny friend, I'm only about 30 years old. I was not even around 100 years ago. And true, my family was, but we were not in the positions of power we are in today.
Does not matter. It is the empire you represent. The empire you claim who has authority over Isik is the same empire that left them, whether it be you, your parents, grandparents, or ancestors from millennia ago. It does not matter. Your empire that you are here to represent, that you claim has a claim on the city, left and did not come back until you believed there was something in it for you.
He says, well, is this even a city right now? It seems more of a wasteland. Undead roam
Then why would you
freely.
want it? Then why do
Because
you want it?
we wish to return it to being a city, where it will once again have life and people, not just death and wandering ghouls.
It has life and people. It has the Warforged who populate it. It has the oh god, I forgot her name. Zana. It has Zana and her keep. It has life already. Just because they are not people does not mean it is not life that is revitalizing the city.
Well, of course, but all of the Empire has life, and we just wish to add to it and help run things here in a way that will be less dangerous to everyone. This is, like I said, almost a wasteland at this point. There's nothing going on here.
So basically what we're talking about is some kind of right for Empire citizens to take up residence inside of our city.
He nods and he says, "Yes, to bring in the living, to protect this place once again, to reestablish trade and all the things that make an empire vibrant and successful, not just darkness and death. To clean this place up, make it a place of what's the word? A place of I don't want to say status, but a place to be proud of, that a jewel of the empire, much like the capital is right now."
So you're imposing your views upon those that you have no claim to.
He says, "Well, we're helping. We're helping to make things better."
You're helping to make yourselves better. Those things are of no value to those that are here.
As a
You're
note,
putting your own values upon the people here, suggesting it's valuable to them.
yeah, and as a note about people, we are also going to extend the invitation to repopulate Isek to the dwarves, of course, and the neighboring empires that wish to live in peace.
Give me persuasion checks. Those who have spoken. He says, and you are offering them all embassies to conduct trade with. Do any of them, or go ahead.
Not just the people. If the people wish to come and live here outside of the reach of their former homes, civilizations that they choose to start afresh, anew, in a new one that is prospering, they are not offered embassies. The Nazak Empire has not been offered an embassy, nor has the Dwarven one yet. You are the first to be offered an embassy, if you so wish to take it. But any citizen from the Empire is more than happy to come and live free from the constraints that bind them, that you impose on them already.
He says, impose constraints. All we do is protect and help our people. There's
One
law,
man's
of
protection
course,
is another man's enslavement.
He says, as you know, the Empire, the Teruvian Empire, unlike the Nazak Empire, does not allow slavery. Or the Dwar, or the shoot, I gotta remember the names of these. The only empire currently allowing slavery are the Nazak.
Tell me, there are no starving children, no starving families, no people that are abused in your empire?
He says, I mean, those sorts of things are unfortunate, but that is the case of any empire. I mean...
And you do have slaves, you just don't call them that, because it's an ugly name that you do not want to use.
He says, "Are your wraiths free to do whatever they wish here?" I mean, this is a strange argument to make. The nobility's purpose is to help guide those under them to betterment. That is why we have councils and governments in the first place. What you
And yet,
propose would be
so many
anarchy.
human empires that I have seen rise and fall only self-serve themselves in nobility.
They
Very few
lose.
have ever elevated the normal people to positions of authority unless they manage to do it themselves.
The empires that rise and fall generally lose focus. There is something that they have done wrong. The Teruvian Empire is not one of those, which is why we continue to grow and prosper.
All empires rise and fall, whether it's in one cycle or 100. All of them do.
Well, by that argument, the same will happen to Isik. So,
Potentially, potentially.
Let's not lose ourselves in philosophy.
yeah, I was about to say, getting a little philosophical here. So
the people living inside of Isik would, of course, be subject to Isik law.
He nods, and he says, "So, again, the situation here is more complicated than we originally thought. Obviously, you do have the protections to defend yourself, and you have not only destruction, but those who survive the ritual and have become smarter. So this has gone from a liberating campaign to more of a campaign to offer friendship to those who are already here. But to help, we would have to be given some positions of power within the city.
To help, you can negotiate defensive pacts, alliance treaties, aid support packages. You don't need power here to be able to help. That is not helping. Getting power here is so you can reap the benefits of helping the city.
Well, yes, we
They're
also.
not one and the same.
He says we also do wish to reap some benefits for the possible work we'd be putting in to help, and we want to make sure that our investments are in wise hands, and we feel we are extremely wise and able to help better guide in positions of power. It's what we do.
Yet you are here offering help for the benefits of such a thing when help isn't needed. What we do not benefit from gaining your help to offer you power.
Varela says, "I agree with them. I think we should reconsider a bit the position that we're in here," which Bakor seems a bit surprised when she says that. He says, "I thought the soft spires were the ones who originally proposed this. Have you changed your mind?" And she says, "Well, the situation is quite different than we originally thought." And does
If the city need help, then I would call upon our allies to help. We can have food brought in from the Feywild. We can have soldiers brought in from the Fireplate. We have plenty of friends to help if we need it. If you want to offer us friendship, that's something we can accept. Help isn't needed.
Give me a persuasion check.
Fucking stupid exhaustion. 15.
So he kind of looks to Tal and says, "Well, you as a judge know the benefits of having the law of the empire to aid a city. Surely you can attest to the those benefits here." And
I think the law of the empire is good for the citizens of the empire, but we have a very different demographic here, with different needs and different abilities.
says, "Well, surely that law can still be a guiding principle for some."
Of course, and it will.
Tal, give me a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh, so it's perception, sorry.
You see very well. So he seems a little flustered. Definitely. Does anyone have a good insight?
No,
Yeah,
mine will be shit.
I have
20
a plus
passive.
1.
Okay, so
I don't even have that.
probably like let me see.
Oh, I have 15 passive insight. Wow.
Well, a 17 or over, you would see, you'd think Bakor was very surprised by Aurella's comment and maybe getting a little suspicious now of something. Does anyone want to say anything else, or should I just say that negotiations continue for a bit?
Yeah, let Queen Dinara have her say. And
Okay.
Sorry, I just like if they're saying that they want to help and guide, then the obvious counter to that is allowing them to have an embassy sit in on council meetings to advise Queen Dinara, if she would accept such a thing.
Alright, so I'm going to say the NPCs are talking to each other a bit, which I don't really want to try to make happen, because I'll just end up sounding like a crazy person if I'm
More
just
than you already
having
do.
6 different people talking to each other through me. So there's a little bit of argument as Demi and Queen Dinara are kind of negotiating with Bakor and Aurelia, who seem to kind of be the main speakers from the Empire side, with Aurelia sort of backing them a bit, which is making Bakor even more frustrated. Because, yeah, you can tell Tal that he was expecting more of like an ally of her than she's being.
Was it the soft spires we had a conversation with before this meeting, or was it the other guy? Sorry, I forgot.
It was the
What-
Soft Spire.
yeah,
Malistray
Soft
is
Spire?
a Soft Spire representative. It was him you spoke to, and he probably told her what to expect from this. So you are trying to... are you trying to keep them as just trade partners and not giving them a seat?
An advisory role would probably be the most they could hope for with how they've negotiated from my point of view. If people want to add to that.
I'm with only giving them a seat on the council at the very last resort as part of it. This isn't going to work, but yeah, I'm with Ripple
All right.
on an advisory capacity at the minute.
So, at this point, that would be a hard sell. I need a persuasion attempt of 25. But I'll take up the 2 rolls from the group.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's obviously me and you because like we've got the best bonus, but I've got fucking disadvantage.
Okay. Okay.
Disadvantage, don't get it.
Nice Ripple. Look at that. Oh man, you both killed it.
Yeah, so the negotiations are carrying on for several hours. Still lots of arguing.
Okay.
Lady...
6% import tolerance.
So, Softspire, Lady Softspire, starts to hint at the fact that it might be good to have some representation of empire, law within the government that's forming, as per your agreement with Malistray. How do you want to respond to that? Because remember, you told Malistray that you were going to argue to get them a seat.
Yeah, like I would.
Are you trying to box her out now, or are you gonna kind of agree to it?
I would suggest that specifically Softspire should get an advisory seat to help the migrants from the Empire fit in with the Empire, Free City.
Okay, and I assume you're gonna try to make it look like this wasn't something that was agreed to. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna need first another persuasion check. This one's a little bit easier. I'd say this is probably like a 15.
From.
Up to 2 of you.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow, you guys are-
And I'm probably going to need a deception check to make sure you try to hide the fact from Bakor that this was not something that you may have already
From-
agreed to, because he seems very suspicious.
2 of us again.
Yes.
Wow.
Ribbon's on point. So yeah,
Look,
when you're not arguing the philosophy of whether an empire is good or not, you seem like you're pretty good at being persuasive and perceptive. So, yeah, it takes a while, but Bakor begrudgingly would agree that there should be some representation, and he is willing to cede that to the soft spire if that's what's best. And you are still giving them the tax stuff, right?
Yeah, I'd have said just for those 2 families, just for the
no.
Asmira and the what?
Like realistically, just looking at it from like a historical point of view, a low import-export tariff rate is good for the economy in both directions. So, given the fact that Izzy doesn't really need monetary wealth when it's got Warforged and other people, trade's probably going to be going out of the city more than it's coming in. So a low import-export tariff would benefit Izzy more.
It's gonna go through the city.
Yeah.
So
Like,
it's
They're trading. So as it's trading through, we would charge them as being the place where they're stopping off, like a I don't know, like border tariff.
yeah, and again, you don't have to figure out the details of that. But you can just say Queen Dinara and Demi and them kind of start discussing that. But
if it gets cash.
You said you cast Detect Invisibility, Calgrod?
Yep, correct.
Are you going to try to keep that up during the meeting? Like, ask to cast it again? Because it's been a few hours.
Oh, no. Only for the first hour.
First hour? Okay.
I will come to disguise self again.
So...
I'm just cycling through it, like I imagine.
Are you just going to cast a spell in the middle of a meeting? I guess you kind of told them what they were, right? So they would know you're disguising yourselves, because you told them what your auras were. So it's getting close to 9 o'clock. Anyone with a 15 or over perception would think they heard something outside the door, like of the house where you all are.
I don't have that.
I would point that out, saying there's somebody's out there.
All
Go
ahead.
I'll go look.
Yeah.
All of the negotiating stops, and all the people sort of look at each other. Horses, we do have guards outside.
I'm going to point out. I'm going to cast another see invisibility. Please allow me.
Okay. So. Sorry, what?
Do they allow?
Yeah, they say as long as that's all you're doing, that should be fine.
As he's casting disguise invisibility, I will say I will go out and look and not move. I will cast mislead and turn invisible.
So a couple of the guards go over to the door along with you. They open it, looking outside, and I don't see anyone out here. However, Calgrod with see invisibility. Does anyone else have see invisibility, or is it just Calgrod?
It's Calgrod.
All right. So, yeah, a strange looking gnome who seems familiar to you comes kind of running in, and will suddenly appear in the room and kind of look at everyone with his arms crossed. And he says, I am Aranye, and you have not invited me to your meeting. Why? Why would you not invite me? I am an important part of Isik. And everyone just looks at each other.
Hi, Ranye. Long time no see.
He says, Calgrad, was it? Why was I not
Yes.
invited to a meeting for the fate of this place? He says, I am a
Well,
powerful
because
wizard, and I will not be ignored. And Bakor
you are
just...
not ignored. You are not ignored by any mean. You are studying an important thing on in the middle of your lake, and you have actually told us you wanted to remain to be kind of left alone. So we just went with your wishes.
He says, but if
You are an important part. Yes.
give me a persuasion check.
Whoops.
I've got a 1 to this guy's back, like I'm a foot behind him, just invisibly.
Come on.
Bakor would say, you know this gnome?
Yeah, he's studying. He's doing studies in Isaac. He's been he's been helpful, and he's a citizen of Isaac, and has been for a while.
He says, I am a important part of this city's structure, and I'm very upset I was not brought in on this meeting. While I did say I wish to be left alone, if you're going to be bringing new people here, I think I should be kept in the loop of what's happening. He says, where's my fairy?
We were planning.
Fairy!
We were.
Fairy! Are you
You
here?
will see, like,
I saw
will see
you.
Ripple.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and he will still see Ripple there. And, like, Ripple would be like, well, you didn't want to come, and the headband was stupid, and
How dare you? Where is the headband? Why aren't you wearing it?
because it's stinky, and my head got really sweaty.
That you should put. Listen,
Yeah.
Fairy. This is important. You should wear that. I'm gathering data.
No.
Can we have this discussion when we're alone again?
He says, I wish to have a discussion about what's going on, and I demand a seat at your council. That's right. I was watching your little meeting.
Right. Riven's had enough. Right. Riven's gonna turn around. Riven's gonna turn around and go, you didn't want anything to do when we were trying to talk to you, so because you were arrogant and self-centered and couldn't give a damn, you weren't invited. Now be quiet, sit in a corner, and listen.
He says, who is this? I don't recognize him, or I forgot.
I don't care if you recognize me or not. You're going to sit there and be quiet.
Give me a
And then we'll feel,
give me a persuasion.
like, he'll feel the wands, like, poking into his back. Let him know I'm behind him.
He says, let me get his picture up first. He says, I will listen, but I wish to be given some power within Isik if we're forming governments.
That is something we should discuss internally and not in front of our new allies.
He just sits down and crosses his arms. He says, well, I wish to join the meeting at least. I will listen. But I'm very mad at you, Ripple, for taking off your headband. It was stylish, and you are wrong if you say it wasn't.
Visible Ripple looks at him and just goes, made my head sweaty. His invisible Ripple just, like, pokes him in the fucking neck with my wand, just being like, shut the fuck up or I'll blow your head off.
He says, well, that sort of thing can be stop poking me. Yes, I know you're behind me. And that sort of thing can be addressed. Anyway, continue with the meeting. I'm now here, and I am taking part.
Quietly.
And
Riven will bow to Aranye and just say thank you for staying.
Bakor and the guards, seeming a bit confused by all this, relax a little and say, well, I think the meeting had mostly come to an end. We had come to an agreement. He says, as for the seats on the city, yes, you'll probably have to take that up with the queen, my friend. And he looks to Queen Dinara and says, I have watched you go from undead to uh, construct,
And
and I've been here for quite some time observing things. He says, I think I could be of help to you. And Queen Dinara would look to the group and say, I don't know much about this gnome. Is he someone I
it's
should be considering for a position of power?
it's all right. We'll talk to you about it when we get back to Isik, and we're in private, not with an audience.
She nods and says, fair enough. Aranye, was it? First, it is good to meet you, but yes, why don't we retreat uh, to the cathedral, and we can all speak more of all this. And he says, I suppose, very well, I will agree to this, for now. And Bakor, and actually the Empire people will take their leave unless you have anything else you want to talk to them about.
So what does Arela looks like? Does she look like a little bit? Because in the end, she didn't get a seat on the council.
Oh,
So when
I thought you guys said you were
Get
gonna
it.
give her the seat.
Yeah,
no,
she
no,
got
no.
the seat, but it was an advisory seat, which is
Yeah,
basically the same thing.
Oh,
she got
so you are
Not
trying
she got
to muscle
No,
her out of the deal then.
yes. That's what.
Oh, I thought I misheard that then. All right, so you're not giving her the seat on the council.
Well, not a seat as a vote, but a seat as a council. She is an advisory position for sure. So that has been clearly said, but not as part of. We didn't create a fifth seat for the council. If I understood things that happened, right?
um,
All right, so
it was
you're
kind of a lesser seat on the council, was the way I intended it. Like, it's not a seat on the council, but she's effectively a member,
all right. So
but her weight isn't quite equal.
I
that
mean,
wasn't
Uh,
what. Okay, go ahead.
I think we can
oh,
give her
okay,
a
hold on,
seat.
hold on.
It's
Yeah. So,
one of 5 votes. She won't have anything major to say. She can't overrule us or anything.
no, and I agree with that. But I thought the 25 was just when you said do a precision 25. I thought that when she realized that it was going to be an advisor site
Oh no,
seat
the
and not.
25 was more for Bakor to be more accepting of the fact that you were not giving him any power.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
guy.
that was earlier in the discussion, and then you kind of. Well, I thought you had said you were giving her a seat, so I may have misheard you. The other roles were more for the further negotiation. So wait, are you going to give her a 1/5
Well,
power thing, or?
yes. So, well, one thing because Ripple was that Ripple or Riven said that if we can avoid giving her because there was a question of boxing her out.
Yeah, because
Was that the intent?
the original agreement with Malistray was that they would help you all in the negotiations, making it easier to argue with Bakor if you were willing to give her family a seat.
Yeah.
And
And she did help us, right?
it also made it easier for Bakor because at least then he can tell the Teruvian Empire Council
I
that they
thought
do have a presence there.
I thought we were giving her authority in over the incoming people from Isik, and that it was kind of just like she's in charge of them coming in and setting them up and all that stuff.
So
But an actual voice of everything, no.
so that wasn't what you agreed with Malistray. So that's why I was asking: are you going back on what you guys had agreed on? Because that would be a different thing.
I said no,
Okay.
I'm just wording it as an advisory seat. Basically, taking the sting off Backle, making it so it doesn't look like we're coercing, and making it apparent that she will be led.
Okay, so you are. So just let me make sure it's agreed upon. You are giving her the seat, but you're calling it something less just to make it easier on Bakor, like politically.
That was my intent.
But she still does have the power.
As long as people don't think I've overstepped by saying that, yes.
So yeah, what do the rest of the group think? because you could have been arguing this during the or talking
fine.
about this during the thing. So you are giving her 1/5 power as agreed. Just yeah.
Yeah, 1/5 or 1/6 if we actually give Aronia one.
If Aranye gets his wizard seat. Yeah.
Honestly, I just want to see if I can steal the fork to get us to the Shadowfell, and then he can just like fuck off. Like,
Well, you
only
still have
tactic.
to someone. You still need someone to cast plane shift, which I
I've
don't
got
think
plane
anyone
shift.
can do. You do?
I can.
Are you sure about
That's
that?
why I've been trying to get metal forks. Yeah, it's my 13th level Mr. Mark I can cast it once a day.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right, but but back to the
Alright.
first thing we did.
Okay.
She got her seat. Okay. Because if you
alright.
were trying to if you were trying to go back on the deal, that would have changed things a bit. But yeah, if that's fine, then yeah, everyone seems happy, and the Empire people would leave at this point. And I assume
Riven's gonna say to Zanago, I didn't realize dragons were the less dramatic of the options.
she's like, politics are so boring. I have no interest in any of this, so I'm just glad I could be here to, I don't know, whatever it is I did.
Did you pick which one you'd like to eat first?
I would like to eat the little blue gnome, and he says, I'm still sitting right here, you know. She says, oh
And
yeah,
you're still
I know.
yet to be silent, so shush.
He says, you don't shush me, I'm a powerful wizard.
Shush.
She says,
So-
actually the gnome's kind of growing on me. And she smiles. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I would... Go ahead, sorry.
We're heading back to the cathedral together.
Yeah.
Alright. Just checking behind to make sure nobody's invisible following us, but I doubt that's going to happen.
Record is invisible.
No, it doesn't seem like the group is being followed.
Okay.
It seems like even though Bakor didn't get what he was looking for, he is happy that there is representation of the Empire. And this is something you could tell, Tal, with your insight. He's at least happy there's representation of the Empire, and he thinks the tax agreements that him and Queen Dinar came to will benefit his family quite a bit. And he's happy he didn't have to, go to war or lose a bunch of soldiers. So it's kind of win-win. It was just keeping face because he didn't get, his initial stuff.
The main thing I'm kind of pointing out to everybody at that point, as we are getting back into town, is that the South Spires kind of lied to us when they mentioned that it was the Azimis that were pushing for taking over Isek. It is actually them that created that situation. That's what. So we have to be extra careful because at that point they were. That's what Baker said. That the Soft Spire was the one that kind of put that item on the agenda. I thought that was the agenda.
According to what Bakor said, the Soft Spire brought the initial plan to the council of bringing people back to Isik and for control.
Up until now, we thought. Yep.
A piece of advice: assume every single person who's ever speaking to you is always lying.
Of course.
Like me.
So I'm just pointing out to everybody. So it may not be the Blackwater or the Asmiras that are actually interested by something in Isik. It's actually Soft Spire. I
expect.
You know what they say. You know what they say. Keep your enemies closer.
Yep, absolutely.
Besides, we now have a dragon, and she can eat them.
And an archwizard, Aranye says, "I am an ally too, even if you do not treat me as such."
Can I just try and
You have an archwizard? Who's the archwizard? I just see an annoying little gnome who throws tantrums.
Quiet fairy.
Oh, can I be an archwizard?
Yeah, I can see through your stupid illusion. Your illusion sucks. It's stupid like you.
Yes, just like the crown you made that you made my brother wear.
How dare you? That crown was beautiful.
You ever put that on him again and threaten to curse him? I don't care who you are. I'm going to blast you into the Shadowfell.
It says curse him.
It
You
was-
mean curse him?
It was me that put it on. He didn't put it on me. And can I just, like, whilst I'm still invisible, try and pickpocket around you? Okay.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, give me a sleight of hand.
I specifically want his components to get to the Shadowfell. 16.
You would take a pouch off him. But he
Cool.
does not
Well,
seem
then
to
this
notice.
I am gone in a different place.
Okay.
Wait, do I notice?
Oh yeah, I mean with 16 you would definitely notice. Anyone
Yeah.
with 16 or over would notice. Which apparently Iranier does not have.
Nor do
I
I.
just go into my amulet and look through the pouch.
So you would take out the pouch. Inside is a piece of paper that says, "I don't carry my stuff on me."
Cast Burning Hands at 5th level.
All right, to burn the piece of
Get rid-
paper, I assume.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to bed.
All right. So yeah, what's going on at the cathedral?
Well, so how does Dinara and Demi feel about the whole thing? What
They would probably be happy. I mean,
Okay.
they mostly got what they wanted. I mean, they will have to deal with some Empire inclusion, but I mean, they avoided a war with their people, and yeah, so they're happy with how it turned out, and they would thank you. They say,
May we introduce you to our little blue head gnome wizard Iranier, who throws tantrums because he's a child.
says you're a child, stupid fairy.
Yes, that's a very mature argument, that is.
Queen Dinara says, yes, it is good to meet you, Aranye. I didn't even realize you were here in Issyk. And he says, well, I kept a very low profile. My studies did not need me to involve myself with anyone. And I used magic and a very powerful sea creature to keep people away from my island. She says, oh.
Now he wants a position of authority.
He says, yes, if a government is forming, I think it would be best if you all had a member of the council with intelligence who knew magic and could help in the event that magic was needed.
And has all the decorum required for such a position.
Exactly. I can... Wait, what did you say?
He was being sarcastic.
Oh, okay. He says, I can give you more of a demonstration of my powers, but if you have some time, I would just like to speak with you a bit about some of my discoveries and maybe how they can help Issyk. And they would probably go talk.
Let's share dinner together, and let's talk about that together.
He says, "Oh, you all, wait, where did that Ripple one, the little one, my fairy go?"
He's fucking gone. Like, I'm in my own little fucking pocket dimension.
Yeah. Well, in any case, you all had asked me about going to the Shadowfell. Is that right?
Yes.
I would be happy to get you a passage there. I must warn you, though, there is no way to get back without help from the other side, because I would not be going in with you. Go ahead.
Ripple was mentioned. Oh, okay.
As a reminder to the players, we can come back whenever we want.
I don't think he knows that. I don't think you told him that.
Yeah. Let's just be a bit mysterious and see. We'll figure it out.
He nods and says, well, I just wanted to let you know, as planner travel can be dangerous if you don't have a way back. People can get stuck
We have a way back.
Oh, well, good. He seems a bit surprised. He says, well,
I can buy the components off him. Is he that stupid?
Sorry, what?
I asked the gnome if I could buy the components so I could cast the spell.
Yeah,
I can cast it.
I don't think you well, did you tell him you could cast it? I thought you just asked to get a fork from him.
Well, I asked him for the fork so I could cast it.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe, yeah. I mean, he might have assumed that you were going to ask another wizard to do it. Maybe he doesn't think you have any power or something. But in any case, he says as long as you have a way back, because people can get stuck in during planar travel. So I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
Me, the fairy from the Feywilds, know you can get stuck in planar travel? Gee, I wonder why I wouldn't have thought of that.
Be quiet. I liked you better as a halfling.
I liked you better when you weren't here.
Yeah. All right. So you guys are having dinner, kind of discussing things.
I would probably suggest during the dinner that we make the cathedral like the official seat of government, with a kind of making outside of the possibly religious nature of that place in the future. It probably would be a good idea to make sure that everybody understands that the keep is to remain off limit for everybody, but the Shadowstalker.
I am fine with that. Dinara says. I was hoping the keep could be restored to power, but I suppose we need to respect the the wishes of our dragon ally. So I think that would be a good idea, and I could stay here amongst the Warforged. And Demi nods and says, "I have no problem with this. We could
Also,
set something up
make
here.
make sure no people go near it as well, because if they do, they will get eaten.
Yep.
We could put warnings outside the keep and lock the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even post some drakes so they know we mean business."
No, they'd
Dangerous
probably
Drake.
eat the people they were going near it that you're trying to scare off.
Dangerous Drake, keep out.
Yeah.
And if anybody gets eaten because they don't read the signs, that's their own stupid fault.
Yep.
Aranye would say, so when is it you need to travel to the Shadowfell? As soon as possible, or do you need some time?
No, we can tomorrow. I mean, we need to long rest, but we can plan to go tomorrow. Actually, now that the meeting is gone and everything has been settled.
Hey, Ranye, I have a quick question for you.
Ugh,
Do you know where this Mindstorm is?
Mindstorm?
Yes.
Mindstorm.
Yes.
Isn't that the Illithid artifact?
Yes.
He says, I had thought it was somewhere below the city. The Illithids did have a presence here before the ritual. But no, I don't know exactly where it is. It didn't really concern me all that much. Why?
They're looking for it, and they've searched under the city. That's what they said, right?
In
I know
the
it's
corridors,
somewhere.
not in the under caves. They haven't
Yeah.
found it yet.
They think it's in the undercave somewhere. I just wondered if you had an idea of where.
He says, no, mind flayers have access to powerful magics. I assume if they could have just located it with magic, they would have done so by now. So that would make me think it's shielding its location.
Well, let's test that. I cast Locate Object on Mindstorm.
So let me see. You would not get any pings. So you would think either it's hidden or it's not within 1,000 feet.
Worth a try.
Yeah, that would have been fun if you, if you had found it right away.
Oh, it's right over here. It's like under the table.
Look at that.
But no, you like I said, it's either further away or it's magically shielded somehow. I mean, 1,000 feet isn't very far. You'd probably want to be like in the keep, because that's closer to the undercaves. But yeah, you get nothing.
Okay.
He says, yes, I don't know much about Illithid culture or artifacts, but I know that one is supposed to be a fairly prominent little trinket. Yeah. If it's somewhere below, they're probably still searching for it.
They are still searching for it. I just wondered if you had an idea where it was so we could get it first.
He says, no, I don't. He crosses his arms and gives you a look.
Is there any way you could find it?
What am I, your errand person now? It says,
No, you remember the...
my alliance
remember...
is with Dinara, not you, fairy.
And Dinara is a part of the council, so are we. So by default, your alliance is with us.
She
And
says,
the Mind Flayers are a threat to this city that you are now a member of. So is there a way you could find the item they are searching for?
She would say, yes, good Aranye, if you could help us, we would very much appreciate that. He says, as I said, they most likely have magic to locate such objects. It would probably be shielded. Probably from scrying, too. I think
Surely this great and powerful wizard such as yourself has ways around.
I'm thinking. Give me a moment. Maybe minions. If I sent minions down there to search for it, the caves are quite extensive. Most likely, the mind flayers would attack my minions, though.
Serve minions. The ghouls are with them now.
He says,
"Can you make the minions look like us? Because they won't attack us."
Oh? Do you have an alliance with them or something?
Tenuous one at best, but if you can make them look like us, your minions might have a better chance. The ghouls will still attack them, but the mind flayers won't.
He says, well, that will work for the first 4 of my minions, but what about all the rest?
I don't know. It's the best I can do.
He says, I'll think about this. Why do you wish to find their artifact?
Because I'd like to make sure they don't find it, because we don't know what it can do.
It might be an interesting trinket to add to my collection. Yes, I think I can look into this. He smiles and rubs his hands together.
Riven will nod his head and go, "Oh, thank you, great wizard Eronier."
That's what I like to hear.
While we're at it, I cast Locate Object on the crown and the amulet.
What did you do with the crown?
Ripple. We never. Schroeder has it.
No, I mean Schroeder's crown.
You probably wouldn't detect it. Again, either shielded or not within 1,000 feet. And the amulet?
The amulet is in its own little pocket dimension.
Well, yeah, you probably wouldn't detect any of those nearby.
Okay.
All right. So this is probably a good place to end. And we can say next time either some downtime or you could just head to the Shadowfell. It's up to you. But why don't we do MVP votes? A lot of talking this session, no battle.
To settle that, can Sprig just shoot her on you? See if he falls asleep.
Just dart him.
18. Does an 18 hit? Yeah.
Are you actually attacking him?
So tempted.
Well, why don't we save that for next time then, because that's a whole other thing. But Riven, you are MVP. Congrats.
Thank you.
Pretty split vote this week.
You guys rocked this persuasion check.
Yeah, those are some good persuasions.
All I'm good at.
I still have exhaustion from the fight with Schroeder.
Yeah, it's only been like a day. Alright, well...
Alright.
Yeah, good game, everyone.
Good game, thank you. See you all next week then.
Yep, where we possibly will head into the Shadowfell.
Which is...
Actually, just for my planning, are we planning to play on the 26th and the 2nd?
I won't be able to play the 26th because I'll have to be at work.
The 22nd is the first week of a 5-week game.
Yeah, so
month.
The 2nd, no, because that's 5-week month, so we're probably going to skip the 2nd. 26 is just kind of if people are all up for it, I'm fine playing. Or if anyway,
I'm working it, so I won't be able to.
yeah.
Sorry.
So we'll probably be down one on the 26th then, and we'll
Aye.
see. As long as we have at least 3 of you, and hopefully, yeah, like I said, if I can find some more Monday people, then we should be playing anyway.
Aye.
Yeah.
So we'll wait for the 26th, but it's possible that we don't play on the 26th and we don't play on the 2nd. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be available 26. Probably.
Okay.
Aye.
Well, I'm just
Aye,
taking some notes, but yeah, you're all welcome to hang out or take off, and yeah, I'll see you next time.
Thanks, Lou.
I
Thanks,
was
folks. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
going to ask you, Raven,
Yeah.
when it comes to next month, when you bill me for the Tuesday game, could you also bill me for the Monday game as well, which make it a little...
Just put them together? Yeah, if you
Yeah.
want, I can do that. Just like on the 1st or something.
Yeah, just like whenever you do that, just make it a little easier for me because like I missed the email for this one until like yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I can, if that's easier, I can just move both of them to the 1st for next month.
Yeah, I don't know. DM shouted at me the other day because again I forgot. Fucking like, if I don't get reminded, I forget.
Yeah, I wish there was like an auto pay thing you could do for this. I guess you could set something up with your bank or something, but that's what I usually do for stuff like this. Is I'll just put it on auto pay.
Well, I could set up a standing order or anything like that, but it's like PayPal doesn't let you auto pay invoices.
Yeah, which is kind of dumb, I think. But yeah, I was trying to look for an option because there's a lot of people that would like that to be an option where I could just like they could just set up some auto pay thing. But
Okay.
yeah,
If people would prefer auto pay over taxes, you could use Patreon, which would probably mean you'd have to charge a little more to get the same back. But
yeah.
if people prefer that because it's easier, like myself, I would do so.
Yeah, I was also gonna look into other things like Venmo. I don't think they have that option either, though.
You could fucking use OnlyFans as far as I'm concerned. Like, I don't give a shit. It's like just either fucking remind me to pay for when I obviously forget, or if you've got an auto, then that's fine. Like if you don't mind me being a day or two late with you having to message me, it doesn't really matter. But
Yeah, usually, I think usually it's fine if you're a little like I usually don't. I'm okay with. Hang on a sec. I'm going to end the stream before we talk about this stuff.
yeah,